This is gonna. Nope. Play that again. Play it again. That's the first time I've ever enjoyed that clip.
Good morning.
Oh, but why? All right, I fixed it. Good morning indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. It is Wednesday, my dudes and dudettes. Welcome in. Spectacular to have you in the happiest of Wednesdays to you. I'm Rob Brown. He is the great one, Lonzo. We are glad to be here with you at 6 a.m. on a Wednesday morning. A Wednesday morning that is not just any old Wednesday morning, my friends. No. Today is NFL Eve. Tomorrow night, approximately 36 hours. We'll call it 37. No, that game kicks off at like 8 o'clock, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think kickoff would be somewhere around 8:20.
38 hours and like 20 minutes from now, Lonzo is going to be posted up in his bro cave, adorned in red and yellow and white. Rob Brown will be sitting on the couch in his bro cave, likely in his boxers, with a sip of bourbon ahead of him as we all get ready for an AFC Championship game rematch between the Kansas City Chiefs, led by the reigning, defending Super Bowl MVP Patrick Mahomes. Across from him, adorned in purple and black and white, the reigning, defending NFL MVP Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, the Chiefs, and it's all on the line in week one, ladies and gentlemen, because the winner of that matchup will have just the slightest of advantages as the two compete to host, more than likely, the AFC Championship game this year. We are coming out of the gate white hot in the NFL season. I don't know about you. I got up this morning, and for the first time in like 3 days, I actually had to go outside in the morning. All right. The car's fixed, by the way, for the none of you that gave a damn. The car is fixed. All right. Cost me like a hefty amount of money, but the car's fixed. We're good. The Broncos back in business. All right. The roads of upstate South Carolina are once again mine at 4:30 in the morning. But we're back. We're back. And I got up this morning. And I got dressed, adorned in the Greenville Triumph, last year's alternate kit, the black with electric green trim. I woke up. I brushed the teeth. I did my usual bathroom activities. I walked the dog. I kissed the fiance goodbye. I opened the door to go outside, and when I did, I was greeted by, last week when football was starting, I said, the air, it feels a little cooler, a little more crisp. It feels very football-y outside, and it did. It did. But so it feels that way even more today. I don't know if you had the same feeling, but I opened the door, and I thought for just that long, it's hoodie weather.
I'm extremely grateful for hair on my toes.
I don't think I've ever heard those words together in that order, to tell you the truth. I'm extremely good. What?
Because it keeps my toes warm.
Yeah, no, I figured that was why.
Cooler. I don't want to wear real shoes yet.
But I've never heard anybody thank their inner Neanderthal quite like that. That's impressive that you went, I'm glad I'm a hobbit today. You're the world's biggest hobbit.
Hobbit life, yo.
Well, congratulations on your hairy toes. I'm glad they came into play today. That's fantastic. As we are both indeed flip-flop guys.
Do you want to see them?
Nope, sure don't. Thanks for asking. I appreciate you asking instead of just slamming them up on the desk like a heathen, because I was prepared for that. As soon as you mentioned hairy toes, I'm like, well, at some point, those are going to be in my face today. There's nothing I can do about it. I might as well accept it.
Arthritis is acting up. I don't think I can get my feet up that high.
Now I almost want to say I want to see him just to see the fight between Lonzo and age and gravity.
You're seeing that every day.
It's fair. It's fair. Yeah, man. I opened the door this morning because I got to tell you, I've spent as I was waiting on the car to get fixed, I spent the last couple of weeks working on the motorcycle. There were some things I needed to do. Get up in there, change a couple of parts out, change the oil. Needed to get a new starter put on it, which I did. Needed to clean up the fuel injector system, which I did. I got all that done, and I was going to take it out yesterday because yesterday morning it wouldn't start. All right, very frustrating. But yesterday, because the car was at the dealership getting fixed up yesterday, I had a little time to work on the bike. I couldn't go anywhere. So I did my daytime work, and then I had a handful of hours where I couldn't go anywhere before the fiance got home. So I'm like, hey, let me work on the bike. I got it up. I got it running. And I thought, man, I'll take it for a ride today, right? Run it around the neighborhood, maybe get it out on Wade Hampton, give her a little gas and see how it goes. And then when it was time to do so, I was like, oh, my goodness, it's so hot outside. I was that guy for a minute. Well, it's too hot. You ride the bike, you got to put on the boots, you got to put on the jeans, you got to put on the armor jacket. I was like, it's too hot for this. I'll wait. This morning, I had no intention of bringing the motorcycle to work. None. I was like, just get in the car, ride the motorcycle when you get off today. I opened the door today. I got hit by that hoodie weather feel, and I'm like, maybe I do. Maybe I do. It was too late at that point. I didn't have time.
The other thing to take into account, around noon, if you dressed warm for this morning around noon, it's not going to feel right.
Yeah, I know. We're like in that because I was informed when I moved here of the concept of false spring. Actually, great one. At noon, it's going to be about 80 degrees today, which after the past 3 or 4 months might be refreshing. TBH. Yesterday, just too hot. Today, 80 degrees. Might have to get the bike rolling.
Currently 59 in Gray Court. So I'm just so it's not much different here, probably.
Just beautiful. It's football, man. Like even Mother Nature, even Gaia herself looked at the schedule and went, uh-oh, football's back tomorrow. Let's get fall cranking now. It's about that time.
Yeah, this is also the time when people start getting sick because it's cool in the morning and hot. And
for sure. It's inevitable.
It is hard to get. Well, no, you just never get used to it.
There
people
is a
who say
day,
they've gotten used to it. I just don't believe them.
There is a day that I will warn you now, coming in the next 2 to 4 weeks, where Lonzo and I are both in here like, so what do you think about the Chiefs game last night, Lonzo?
Well, let's hope it doesn't hit in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, something like that.
Dude, could you imagine?
No, that would be bad for you.
No, I know.
Yeah,
I know. Watch the seasonal allergies kick me square in the ass on that. It'll be that day. That's not true. We're gonna be down in Florida right on the beach. So you got that salt in the air, kind of knocks the pollen down a little bit. I'll be fine. I just got to make it to then without death knocking on my door. We'll see. I do a great one as we get set for the Kansas City Chiefs matchup tomorrow. I do have to hit you with an article that was posted yesterday on Bro Bible. We all know what Bro Bible is, right? Bro Bible is like it's a sports
I'm
website.
waiting to see if I have to mark this off of trending, which I already had on there. So, but we'll see.
I'm gonna say a solid maybe here. Bro Bible reporting via the Daily Mail, which, so that we're clear, is a rag. All right, it's a celebrity gossip.
I already
rag.
marked it off because I already saw that.
Oh yeah, okay, good. Sorry, but good.
It's okay.
We got to play. At least I'm doing it at 6:08 and not 9:08.
Number one.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
So the Daily Mail is reporting that they were tipped off to paperwork from Full Scope, which is a PR firm that represents Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. And Full Scope has apparently drafted up the post-breakup paperwork for TK and Taylor Swift. Apparently, the announcement will be, quote, gracious, respectful, and stress mutual respect, laying out what the statement would say. They write, quote, example, Travis and Taylor have decided to part ways after careful consideration. They both value and respect each other's personal lives and appreciate your respect for privacy during this time. Now, Full Scope has already issued a denial, claiming the supposedly document was, quote, entirely false and fabricated, and were not created, issued, or authorized by this agency and have, according to a release from Full Scope, ordered their lawyers to investigate where the document came from. Now,
why can't people just let people be happy? Why can't? Why do they have to try to break things apart? I mean, this may be real, but if it's not, why would you make that up?
To get eyes on a website, the same reason that everything happens everywhere, for sure. But I am going to go with here. There is a theory floating around, and I am going to bring this up from a football perspective. Sincerely, this is a football segment. Stick it with me for just a minute. All right. I know the phrase is stick with me, not stick it with me, but shut up. I'm dumb. Leave me alone. All right. So there's a theory floating around on the internet right now that this relationship is and always has been about the public relations of both of these people, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Again, football segment, stick with me here. The controversy, the conspiracy theory going around on the interwebs right now is that the relationship was never really a real relationship, that it was a PR opportunity for both entities. Taylor Swift, in that she was going to get visibility in a market that has a huge audience that she's never really had the opportunity to tap before, that is football fans, right? By dating, arguably, the most popular and certainly the most visible player in the NFL, which I think it's fair to say Travis Kelce is the most visible NFL player.
He especially is now. I saw a thing where he has like 3 times the amount of commercials as anybody else or something like that.
He's the most visible player in the NFL. And so Taylor Swift, if this relationship was forged, Taylor Swift, who very clearly, and I can say this is someone who has, and I'm not ashamed to say, long considered himself a Swiftie. All right. Now I'm going to tell you, I'm kind of falling off the bandwagon just a little bit. But Tay-Tay, for the record, was literally the first clip I added when we got our sound board over here. She was also number 2. All right. I've been a fan for a very long time. But I do kind of feel like we've gotten to the point where there's a lot of manufactured behind Taylor Swift. Like, for instance, the fact that over the past handful of months, 5 times, another female artist has reached number 1 on the charts. And within a day, Taylor Swift re-releases another version of the same album. All right. It's the same album. She just tweaks a couple of tracks and goes, oh, this is that version or this version. She's effectively the Marvel Cinematic Universe of pop music. Every time something gets stale, she just changes a little thing and goes, oh, this is this variant. All right. And then on the flip side, there's Travis Kelce, who gets to be, at least for a brief period of time, the knight in shining armor to the Swiftie army, which is billions of women wide. And I know this because I went to a Super Bowl party last year. And I, ironically, but also not ironically, wore a Kansas City Chiefs shirt. I'm not a Chiefs fan. I wore a red shirt with yellow lettering that had Travis Kelce's number 87 on it and the name Taylor's boyfriend on the back of the shoulders. All right. I thought it was funny, but also whatever. Tay-Tay was happy. I was happy. All right, fine, whatever, judge me. But now we went through an off season where effectively you saw them together a couple of times, but it was at her shows, right? And granted, she's got right now the most successful touring act, I believe, in history. I believe it's the most successful tour in history, the Eras Tour. So you've got all this controversy. Now, put all that aside and let's dial in on football. The breakup is rumored to be coming in the next couple of weeks. Of course, so's the football season. It would make sense that if it's going to happen, it wouldn't happen leading up right up to the game. Why? Because then nothing happens except what? Travis, I know you've got the Ravens tomorrow, but are you okay? Travis, do you need to talk? Do you need a shoulder to cry on, Travis? Do you need somebody there for you, Travis? You want to go to the bar and rage tonight, bro? We can forget her, dude. Or whatever. Like, it would become the biggest story. So it makes sense they'd put it off till after opening day, get a couple of weeks deep into the season so that football's rolling, and Travis can just say, hey, I'm not going to answer these questions. I want to talk about football. The question here is, could this whole thing end up being too much of a distraction for the Kansas City Chiefs? Could it end up being too much of a distraction? Because here's what I will say about Travis Kelce. And so that we're clear, and I don't think this is going to be a shock to anybody, Zoe included, I'm a Travis Kelce guy. Just like I was a Gronk guy. I like a dude that I can see myself in. A little bit of Rob Brown in there, okay? And I can see a little Rob Brown and Travis Kelce. If I could grow just a mustache and I didn't have this Joe Dirt trailer park mustache, I'd only have a mustache, all right? I like the look. I like the vibe. If I was Travis Kelce, I'd act just like Travis Kelce. I'd be doing a podcast with my brother. I'd be hammering beers on the football field of my alum.
Would you do a podcast with your brother?
Dude, if I got paid $100 million a year.
All right, I'm just checking.
Lonzo, for $100 million a year, I'd let my brother kick me in the nads daily for $100 million a year. You kidding me? Yeah, I'd do a podcast. Yeah. So the point here is that I like Travis Kelce because he's what I would be. I've always made the joke like, oh, if I was Gronk, I'd be Gronk. The reality is, no, I wouldn't. All right. I would have when I was 21. Nowadays, I would. Nowadays, I would be Travis Kelce. I would literally make every decision in my life by, is this fun? And if the answer is yes, I'm doing that thing. The only reason that I can't do all the things in my life I want to do, that I say, that's fun, I want to do that, is because I can't afford to. That's it. Literally the only difference that stops me from living Travis Kelce's life is I can't afford it. I ain't got Travis Kelce money. So I like TK. I really do. But at the same time, Travis Kelce does have some responsibility to be the best version he can. And over the past couple of years, it has felt to me, correct me if I'm wrong here, great one. It has felt to me that Travis Kelce has been as dialed in on making sure that his post-football, and he's not the only guy who's done this. Let's be clear. But he's the only starting tight end on the reigning defending undisputed Super Bowl champions. He's the only guy that last year was the passing offense until Rashee Rice showed up. It seems like he's hosting game shows. He's doing the pod. He's dating. He's got all these things going on. And he's a person. He has the right to do whatever the hell he wants. But I do ask, is all the stuff that's going on, is there the potential that it's a little bit of a distraction as week one is here, and it's coming hot out of the gate with a matchup that very well could, and I'm going to say probably will be, the AFC Championship game a second season in a row. And this year, since they match up in the regular season, the team that wins this game has a full game up on being able to host the AFC Championship game. And I would say if you're Lamar Jackson, it's kind of massively important to get that game in Baltimore. Because what's Lamar, like 1-4 against Mahomes, and 4 of those have been in Arrowhead? You got to get that thing back to Baltimore. So is there a chance, if this thing is real, that it might end up being a bit of a distraction for Travis Kelce?
Do you believe it's real?
Honestly, a little bit I do.
See, I don't.
A little bit I do.
Don't. I thought at the beginning that this thing was fake, but as it's developed, I've changed my mind.
Okay. And that's fair. I mean, I don't really have anything to say that it's not, other than over the past couple of months, I've kind of felt like everything about Taylor Swift is kind of manufactured. All right, we'll put the TMZ drama behind us and get to actual football when we come back. It's the Rob Brown Show. It's the Fan Upstate.
This is just something else contrived by other NFL teams to disrespect the Kansas City Chiefs.
The audacity.
Yes, it's what it is. I'm sure Travis and the guys see it for what it is, but they will use it as motivation.
I just hope Travis has a good support system behind him. You know, he's got some guys he can talk to.
Yeah, he
Some
kind
fellas that understand.
He kind of does a podcast with someone that he can talk to, or it would seem. You could also go to Andy Reid and ask him how he handles all his fame.
Oh, who was it? Somebody yesterday.
Asking him about where to eat.
Yeah, you saw that?
Yeah, I just saw it a couple minutes ago. That was a great answer.
It's a great answer. It's a great question.
So I watched all of Raw.
Okay.
And I think Testador is getting a bad rap by some people who are not completely on board with him. I haven't
heard anything bad about him.
I think this is how he does everything.
Yeah.
I mean, he always has this. You're not quite sure. Is that his real voice?
Yeah.
Is that how he really talks? But that's how when he's done football, when he's done boxing, when he does anything, he sounds that way. I will tell you, terminology. You got one thing wrong. It was a 6-person tag team match.
Yep.
You could tell someone in his ear or Wade Barrett told him. And after
what did he call it?
He called it a six tag something. He left out a word.
Okay. So it wasn't like an egregious mistake.
No. You could tell he didn't know what to call it.
Yeah.
And you could tell someone told him, and it was either Hunter in his ear or it was Wade Barrett told him how to say it, and he never missed it again. He knew all the moves.
Yeah.
And I don't know if someone's in his ear telling him.
From what I understand, Tessitore is a legitimate lifelong wrestling fan.
Yeah. So I mean,
which was always my big problem with the soccer dork that was terrible is like, you don't like wrestling,
you're
bro.
thinking of him, and I'm thinking of the other sports guy that was in there, and I can't remember his name.
The other sports guy.
There was another major sports guy. It was Adman Verk. That's who it was.
Yeah, okay. But like he was a UFC guy, wasn't he?
No, he was.
Where did he come from?
He was on Sports Center, and it was everywhere. He was on Mike and Mike.
Yeah, that dude was terrible though.
Yeah,
that guy was atrocious. Let's see. He was with ESPN, TSN, The Score, and MLB Network. Yeah, that guy was awful. Replaced Tom Phillips. He made it 6 weeks. They released him. Adnan claimed the schedule was too much for him and his family. However, reports were that it was from an, quote, overwhelmingly negative reception from the fans. Well, that dude was trash.
I just wonder what happens when McAfee comes back.
Who do they have? So they got Cole and Bad News right now, and then they've got Tessitore and Graves.
No. Tessitore's with Graves and Michael Cole are together on SmackDown.
Okay, so it's Tessitore and Barrett for right now. So then Pat's gonna step. See, you can't break up Pat and Cole.
Right.
You can't. They're too good together. So yesterday, the great one himself got flustered with me a little bit. He was very agitated. If I told you guys the things that he said to me when we got off the air, the FCC would come in here and slap us with a few $1 million in fines.
Yeah, I can give you a taste of what I said. I said, "See ya."
Yeah,
that's what I said. Bye.
We got done with the show, and Lonzo said, I'm out, Rob Brown. I can't take this anymore.
I did not, but I do know that the boss listened to the entire thing.
Oh, good.
And because I said something when I was over there, I'm just trying to keep it positive. He's like, "Yeah, I heard that whole thing." I said, "Am I in trouble?" He said, "No." I was like, "Good."
All right, good. We're good. So, Lonzo said, "Rob Brown, you negative Nancy. You sound like a Gamecock haters, man." And I said, "I don't think so. I think I'm a realist." But I wanted to, great one. I wanted to go back because it's Wednesday. All right. We've turned a corner, ladies and gentlemen. Monday and Tuesday are for venting. Wednesday is for optimism, looking ahead All right. It's for looking ahead. And then Thursday and Friday are for getting it together, getting pumped, getting prepared. As Will Muschamp once said, it's time for Gamecock football. Get out of your seats. I found that clip yesterday. I want you to know it was everything I had not to put it on the wall. I just don't know how many times I can get away with using it before Lonzo tells me stop. Because it's legendary.
That's probably the only positive thing he ever did. I mean, so I don't know.
Someone
might
still
showed him
on
on the, I know it's probably fake, on the Vanderbilt sidelines, and he had like a Vanderbilt.
Is that where he is now?
No, I think they Connor Stallion him. I just don't think he really was there, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
No, he's defensive analyst at Georgia. I knew that.
Yeah,
Come on, dummy.
Yeah, but they showed, maybe that's why.
Yeah,
maybe they showed him. So it was a Connor Stallions thing.
Connor Stallions.
Yeah, he's just over there with the big V because they're afraid of Vanderbilt. I get.
I'm watching that documentary tonight. By the way,
are you?
Yeah, I told the fiance and I did a bunch of wedding stuff last night. Like we did like 2 hours of wedding stuff last night. And there's no football tonight. Tonight's the last night without football because we got NFL tomorrow. We got NFL Friday, college all day Saturday, NFL on Sunday, NFL on Monday. We got 5 nights of football ahead of us, boys and girls. So if you got anything you want to get off the must-watch list, you better do it tonight because you got 5 days of football starting tomorrow ahead of us.
Well, I'm gonna watch our friends Orange Cassidy and Chris Statlander and
See, I'm a mourning the next guy wrestling guy.
I know. I'm
so I got to watch
probably gonna watch them.
The Connor Stallions doc. Anyway, all right. So I decided to be optimistic. I said, let me approach this with the power of positivity. Like the new day without Odyssey Jones.
Without Odyssey Jones. And we've seen why Odyssey Jones is gone.
That's real bad. It's real bad. Cannot wait for Fight Club tomorrow. So I went back and I watched the game and I said, let me put some fresh eyeballs on this. Let me take a few minutes. Let me actually study some tape here. And there's a couple of things that I wanted to get to. One of them is what I said yesterday. And that is the defensive line deserves a heck of a lot of praise. The defensive line deserves a lot of praise. And I'll tell you why. It's not just the fact that 2 SEC Defensive Players of the Week came off of that line. Not just that 2 of them did, because, by the way, 2 of them did. It's also the fact that I saw something that I considered impressive. This defensive line, great one, was constantly confounding the ODU offensive line at the point of attack. You want to know where the turnovers came from? The turnovers came from the front 3/4, depending on the set that they were using. The turnovers came from the front 3/4/ sometimes 5 because the Gamecocks were walking linebackers up on either side of the line of scrimmage. I thought you saw a lot of different looks, and I like that. But what I liked the most was they were stunting across the defensive line constantly throughout the game, and very rarely was it not pinpoint precise. I can't tell you how valuable it is as a defensive coordinator to know that you've got guys across the front 3 or 4 or 5 that you can ask for different looks, different stunts, different moves, and you can trust that they're going to get it right. Go watch any football game. And this is one of the ways I tell people to watch the game. When you watch a game, when the ball is snapped, watch the line of scrimmage. Watch the offensive line, watch the defensive line. When I am calling play-by-play, my eyes don't leave the offensive line for a good 1.5 seconds after the snap. And the reason why is twofold. Number one, you can get a real good idea for what the offense is about to do based on what the offensive line does. For instance, if you're watching from a side cam and you see the front numbers or the back numbers of an offensive lineman, 95% of the time that's going to be a run. All right? So now you can track the football more effectively. 95% of the time, it's going to tell you where that run's going to go. If the guard tackle near you or just the guard nears you, it pulls or steps backward and pulls around, the running back's going 1 of 2 spots. He's either jumping in the hip packet of that guard. Packet? Am I from Baston now? Hey, wicked. He's either jumping in the hip packet of the gag and he's going off the left-hand side, or that guard is going to kick off the edge and he's going to cut it up to the inside. You can get a pretty good vibe. The same is true with the defensive line. The defensive line, I'm going to keep an eye on, because with the defensive line, you can get a pretty good idea of what defense you're looking at based on what the D linemen do and the linebackers behind them. Normally, most blitzes are going to come from the linebacker spot, so you can get an eye where the pressure's coming from. And you can also kind of get a vibe for where the defense feels like they are best, right? Because if you're looking in 3-4 plays in a row, you see the will linebacker coming off the blitz, the defense feels like the strong side has an advantage. They feel like they can match numbers over here and they can bring over extra pressure over here because they've got that advantage. And so with all of those things, like, you can get a real good vibe for what's happening on the football field. So I watched yesterday and I started with the D-line. And South Carolina threw a lot of stunts, most of it a twist. One side defensive tackle crashes down. The other side holds back, peels off the butt of the crossing defensive lineman. And what you're intending to do with that move is the offensive line, who the defensive line that crosses, you want them to go with that guy. You want them to get hands on shoulder pad and ride that momentum over into a double team, but you're hoping that pulls that offensive lineman out of their responsibility and opens up a hole there, and that stunting defensive lineman, when he comes off the edge, has a hole in the offensive line to blitz through, right? There's a reason for it. South Carolina's defensive line was outstanding with the stunting, and I think that that's a very valuable asset for the defense. It's a very valuable asset for Clayton White. It's a very valuable asset when you can manipulate offensive lines by utilizing your inside two or your outside two defensive linemen to cause a little havoc. When the offensive line comes up and they get set, they've got their assignments, right? And as defensive guys move, that assignment changes. This is why I've always made the expression that the most difficult position to play mentally on the football field is the quarterback, because he's got to know the job of every other of the 10 guys on the field. The second hardest is offensive linemen, any of them, because there's assignments, and those assignments change based on whether this guy is on my nose or on my right or left eyeball, right? If he's here, I got one assignment. If he's here, I've got a different assignment. If he's here, I got a different assignment. If you're watching on the stream, you saw me do some dramatic acting. Give me the damn Oscar now, all right? I think that when you can utilize those defensive linemen, and South Carolina's got a good bunch there, there's your positivity. When you can utilize those linemen and you can change their positioning in the play, it changes the assignment of the offensive line during the play. And when you can do that, the more you can change assignments and the more that you can change what a guy is supposed to do or see on a look, the more opportunities there are for offensive lines to make mistakes. And the more offensive lines make mistakes, the more opportunities you got to hit the quarterback. Let me give you the second one. Here's the second one. There are two offensive plays that got missed that completely changed the flow of the football game on offense. Number one, DQ got lost and gave up a 72-yard touchdown. We know that one. That was the first touchdown Old Dominion scored. 72-yard bomb. That was just a blown assignment. That's all. That's a mental mistake, not a physical one, because ODU's receivers were not outrunning the South Carolina defensive backs. It was just a blown assignment. That blown assignment doesn't get missed. That mental mistake doesn't get made. You're looking at a punt from ODU inside their own territory. Now it's not 7-7 at the end of one. It's probably 7-0. Maybe you score a quick tutty on the backside because all the momos in your favor. Maybe we're talking about 14-0, different ballgame at that point. And number two, Brown had that 85-yard touchdown catch on a dime of a throw from the Norris Sellers. And Lonzo talked about this one yesterday, that he just stone hands. He catches that ball to the house. To the house. That's an 85-yard touchdown pass. And Lenoris Sellers all of a sudden goes from, 120 whatever passing yards to 200 plus and another touchdown. Those two plays, one on defense, one on offense. Those two plays switch, great one. I don't do two segments that we did yesterday. Those two plays flip. That is a minimum of a 14-point swing. You take an ODU tutty off the board, you put a Gamecock tutty on it, we're now talking 14 points of difference. And I think you take an ODU tutty down, you ride the momentum you had from the first touchdown, you put up another one. So we could be talking about a 21-point swing because of 2 plays that got made. I would be willing to say that if we came in here today and we were looking at a 37-12 scoreline, or hell, let's just do 2, a 30-12 scoreline, I'd be willing to say at that point, we're probably not worried about Rob Brown being a negative Nancy. Now, there were some other things that got to get cleaned up, some other things that got to be different. But it wouldn't have felt like an escape against the Sun Belt team. It would have felt like a good win from a program that we don't expect to be Georgia or Tennessee. It have felt a lot more, we're ready for Kentucky. We'll see. But there you go, Lonzo. Power of positivity. I did that just for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Hey, let's talk about Deion and the Buffaloes again when we come back. They're getting set for Nebraska. Big one. The Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate.
Going up against Patrick Mahomes light.
Baby Pat. My man got off the bus, and for like a second, I was like, what?
I'm sure that was not on purpose at all. There's no way.
Oh, no, he has openly admitted he is directly copying Patty.
Well, if looking like someone makes you play like someone, I mean,
I look like Coach Beard from Ted Lasso, so nail it. All right, people on the stream, I see you there, but nobody's saying nothing. Where y'all at? Good morning. Hello. Howdy.
they were taken aback by your positivity.
It's weird, right?
Yeah, I'm having trouble dealing with it. Just because you're positive doesn't mean everybody else can be, because Jacob apparently it's not catching. You also spent
But he nailed it. He was right.
You spent a good amount of time talking positively about South Carolina's defense, something that has not been done in a really long time. So
Defensive line, let's be clear.
yeah, but still, the last I checked, defensive line is on defense. Could be wrong. Hello, Donovan. I hope you're having a good morning.
Hola, amigos. No, they fixed it.
What are you talking about?
So when I brought my car in, the guy goes, "Oh, I've been telling you, like, I can't connect to the app in my remote starter and all that." So I brought it in, and when I told him, I'm like, "Hey guys, like, just as an FYI, all this stuff isn't working." And the guy goes, "Oh, you've needed a software upgrade since you bought this car." Great. So they did it. Well, I have a scheduled remote start that starts my car at 4:30 a.m. because I leave between 4:30 and 4:40, so that either the AC or the heater will be working when I get in. Yeah, my car just started. It's 2 hours late, but it started. So it's been down running. I just cut it off. It's awesome. The Rob Brown Show on your radio. It is the Fan of State. We have talked a little positive about the Gamecocks of South Carolina so far this morning. And I do have to point out, as we pointed out, the fun thing about week one in college football is that half the teams in America have to start 0-1. That's how football works. All right. And as you heard many a coach say, it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. And I do think that you've got to lean on that if you're South Carolina. It's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. So I gave you some thoughts because Zoe got very upset with my negative Nancyism yesterday. All right. I was the master of negativity on the show. It's Wednesday. It's time to look ahead. Wednesday is the first day of the second half of the week. I mean, technically it's the middle of the week, but shut up. We're rounding up to the end of the week because it's football week in America. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the best week of the year, frankly. It's the best week of the year. I don't care what anybody says. Best week of the year. I don't know what that was either. I didn't do it. If I did, it wasn't.
Well, you kind of did do it.
I mean, I did do it, but not on purpose.
Okay.
Defensive line, a lot of respect for it. The one mistake that gave up the first Old Dominion touchdown, and I will even go one step further when I talked about that and said, it's not just the fact that you let ODU put 7 up on the board. It's the fact that you let ODU put up 7 on the board and on the second drive, because the first drive was the turnover on the goal line that South Carolina punched in with Rocket Sanders. But so it was the first drive where they had some room to operate. And I think what you did was you gave the Monarchs that little something on the sideline up in the noggin, right? You gave them up on the sideline that we can do this. And when you give somebody that, not just the belief, but an actual bit of evidence that they can do a thing. It's one thing, because guys like me and Zoe, when we get told you can't do it, it makes us want to do it that much more, right? When I showed up and we started doing this, and the first year we submitted for the SCBA Sports Talk Radio Show of the Year Award, I got told by someone in this building, who shall remain nameless, but I got told, hey, absolutely put in for it. Absolutely submit something, but just know that it's not really that easy to win this thing. And it's certainly not easy to do it in your first year broadcasting in the state. I was not thrilled about that. So we made the push. And then I got told it's not easy to do it twice, especially not twice out of the gate. And so we made the push. I hung the red jacket. We got it done. And then I got told three-peat. Well, not three-peat because we had 1 year. We're going for the three-peat next year, though.
We parallel Kansas City. Whether you want it, I mean, we do. We're with their Super Bowl run, their dynasty. We're paralleling them. Not a bad thing to parallel.
And he's the Patrick Mahomes, and I'm the Travis Kelce of sports radio. All right, he throws it up, I go get it. That's kind of how it works. So we're going for the three-peat. And you better damn sure believe I won it, and I've already been told nobody's three-peated. A lot of guys have won it 3 times over the years, but nobody's three-peated. Nobody's won it 3 in a row. I'm going to tell you right now, Zoe and I are attacking this thing this year. Attacking it this year. We won it. But there's a big difference between I think we can go do this thing, and we're going to attack it, versus seeing that reward for the first time. Seeing that reward, seeing that payoff for the first time. And I think when ODU got that 72-yard tutty out of the gate, when they popped that thing and that man knocked down the 72-yard catch and broke an ankle, by the way, that was a nasty little move on the sideline to get in. Good move, commendable move. Golf clap. I think when he went in, there had to be that little bit of spark of, damn, we can do this. We can. We got him. It's 7-7, right? It's 7-7, and the first touchdown, we handed them. We gifted them that touchdown to open this thing. It should be 7-0 at the worst right now. And I think Old Dominion kind of got that little boost of adrenaline. Because, again, it's one thing to do a thing. It's another thing when you get into the heat of the battle and you get that little boost of adrenaline, and now you're hitting a little bit harder. Now you're moving a little bit faster, right? And I think that's what happened. And so South Carolina now had to overcome that. It was not just that Old Dominion, by the way, again, just so we can put it all into perspective, It's not just that Old Dominion, the second worst offense in the Sun Belt last year, the Sun Belt. It's not just that. And again, our improved returning quarterback. I think 3 of their 5 offensive linemen were back. A coach that has now been in another year. I think there were a lot of positives for Old Dominion. But let's not sit here and pretend they're even Kentucky. They're not, all right? But I think at that point, there was that little pop of adrenaline, that little rush of success. You know what I'm talking about. You're doing a job. You hit that first objective, and now you're like, bang, let's go. All right, we're in that flow state now. And you had to overcome that a little bit. And it's good that you did. Again, I'm not impressed by who you did it against, but you did that. But I can go back and I can cite effectively 2 plays that could have swung this thing by 7, 10, 14, 17, or 21 points, depending on the hypothetical outcomes of the next play. The 72-yard touchdown pass could have swung it by 7, could have swung it by 10 if South Carolina scored a field goal, could have swung it by 14 if they scored a touchdown on the ensuing drive had that one not been converted. And then I look at the long touchdown pass. There's another 7 right there. So it could have been swung by really no less than 14. Because it would have taken an ODU touchdown off and put a South Carolina. That's a 14-point swing. And then you can add on what might have happened with another field goal or another touchdown. So you're looking at 17 to 21 points worth of swing right there. I think that if I am Shane Beamer, I want to lean on that. But I also want to point out while I lean on that, we still have to make sure that all the other things that allowed them to hang in there do get cleaned up. We got to make sure that our quarterback isn't tripping our running back on a breakaway run. I don't know if Rocket scores on that because for whatever reason, TV networks insist that we zoom so far in on ball carriers that we can see the sweat dropping out of their pores instead of giving me the field.
He's pretty upset afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
He should have been pretty upset.
And he noticed Lenore Sellers didn't try to block anymore after that.
There is a spot.
You shouldn't do anyway, but if you're that big, you just feel compelled to do it because you know you can.
We celebrate every year. There's always a game, Zoe, where a quarterback on a double reverse end around that goes back to the QB side. Every year that we've seen it out of Josh Allen, we've seen it out of Patrick Mahomes, where a quarterback goes, I got a shot here, and they go down the field and block. And we always celebrate. We go, yeah, that man's laying his body on the line. Celebrate that man. That's a man who cares more about the team than himself. Forget a business decision. And we always celebrate that. So I respect Lenoris realizing I can go set a block for Rocket. Here's the problem. He tried to do it from behind Rocket. If you're running back, and this is something I'll say for quarterbacks, wide receivers, offensive linemen, tight ends, anybody on the field, if you turn the edge and you realize that your running back is going to be to you before you set the block, don't set the block. Because at the best, you're going to create an obstacle that running back has to get around and slow him up. At the best. A running back coming around the edge should be able to read the pursuit angle from that tackling defender and be able to know I need to cut inside, outside, accelerate, decelerate to make him fly by. But if you get out there, you're another obstacle. And certainly, if you're behind the guy, what are you going to do? You're going to get called for a block in the back behind the running back. That's the only thing that's worse than what Lenoris did, right? But, Zoe, I will say, as I'm trying to be a Captain Optimist here, I can say this. You know what that was? That was a young guy, an inexperienced guy, trying to be a difference maker. I can work with that. That's a guy that had some guts and some heart.
Right.
I can work with that.
That's what I was talking about him yesterday. I see the speed of the game is not where it needs to be yet, and SEC defenses will smarten him up on that. And as he progresses, I mean, obviously the talent is there, but when he starts understanding all the other stuff, he's got the potential to be really good.
I actually really agree. I sincerely agree. I think he's got all the potential in the world. And I think he showed that. That, again, One of the oopsies that I'm taking off the board was that long pass. That wasn't on Lenoris. That's on a wide receiver with bricks for hands. Can't have that. Got to catch that football. All right. Now, every receiver is going to drop a football. Travis Kelce's going to put one on the turf this year that's going to make Alonzo rip a lock of his beautiful hair out. All right. No, he won't, because he cares more about his hair than anything else, and we get it.
Thank you.
That was Mike said it was Juju, not Rocket, on that breakaway. All right. Whatever one it was. My bad. But whoever. The turnaround running back, man, that was Saturday. You know how long ago Saturday is from Wednesday? All right. The fact that I remember the team he played for is impressive.
And you were dealing with some stuff. So that
I had this week has sucked.
Yeah.
All right. The fact that I'm in the mood that I am in today, it was Juju McDowell. By the way, Mike, thank you very much for the correction. You are correct.
It's because your car's fixed. That makes everything feel a lot better. It does.
It does, but man, scratching that check sucked. I did not write a check. I'm not 90. All right. I use my card because it's 2024. But the point here is scratching that check sucked, but the car's fixed. And I'm real happy about that. So anyway, I can work with that guy who made that play, and it was a mistake based on being a hustle monster. That's where that mistake comes from. I don't know that Juju scores on that play. I don't know that McDowell gets to the end zone. I know he's getting a first down. I know he's picking up 25 at the minimum, and I know it's a game-changing play. I can work on that because that's one that I can put it up on the film. I can joke about that with the locker room, right? I can go, Lenoris, come on up, get that helmet sticker for a touchdown-saving tackle. Ha, 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 ha. Everybody had a good laugh. Good. Now, Lenoris, here's the lesson on what you take from that. Setting a block, good. Setting a block when your running back is even with you or ahead of you, bad. Don't do that. If you see the side number of the running back or behind, don't do it. Don't do it. If you know you're going to get to the defender before him, fine, set the block. But if you can't, and you know you can't, or if you even think that you can't, let it go. Because that's a mistake made by hustle. That's a mistake made by doing too much. Greatwood, if you give me a team of guys that are making mistakes because they're doing too much, as opposed to a group of guys like down in Tallahassee who are making mistakes because they're lazy, I can work with that. I can coach that team up. So if we're playing the power of positivity today, if we're saying it's a new day, I can work with what I saw there, right? I can. By the way, I just saw an ad for that what's called Killers game, that movie that's got Drew McIntyre in it. I did not know it also has Dave Bautista and Ben Kingsley in it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, but have you heard it with the sound on? Ben Kingsley says, "Don't hate the player, hate the game," and that just almost makes me not want to watch it.
That makes me want to watch it more.
Yeah, but his delivery is not. It's not.
Or is that because you expect Ben Kingsley, aka the Mandarin? Because Ben Kingsley is like,
oh, that's my favorite role for him.
It's so good.
Is Trevor Slattery
for sure?
Yes.
It is so good. I'm gonna say this: Ben Kingsley has the chance to be the next generation's like Ian McKellen. That's how good that guy can be at his best.
So this movie looks like a movie that was made for somebody else, but that person backed out, so they put Bautista in the starting role. That's what it looks like.
Can we talk about how damn good Bautista is?
Yeah, he's good.
He's great.
He's good, but I that's what it looks like to me.
Batista's great.
And that's happened to other people, and they've jumped into that role, and the movies ended up being really good.
And you're giving McIntyre as a 6'7" psychopath murderer? Hell yeah, let's go. I'm all that. I'm going to tell you what, the echelon of movies that gets me actually, as Alonzo will attest, that gets me to actually not say I'm going to the theater, but to go to the theater, it's a pretty high threshold. I think that just crossed it. And I haven't even heard the audio from the commercial yet. We got to run to a break. When we come back here in just a minute, Water Cooler Cheat Sheet, top 3 sports stories you need to know for this lovely Wednesday morning. And then we're going to do a new segment I'm going to introduce called the Audio Blitz. Basically, it's all my favorite sound clips I found off the internet from the past couple of days. And some of them are freaking hilarious. So that's coming up in the next hour. But before we get there, allow Lonzo to soothe you and seduce you with this sports flash.
Wow.
I don't know why I did that.
Yeah, I don't know what to do. Yesterday, the Atlanta Braves started a 3-game set against the Rockies with a 3-0 win. At home, Chris Sale surpassed his 200th strikeout on the season in a 9K 7-inning shutout performance, earning his 16th win of the year. Game 2 is tonight at 7:20 with Charlie Morton on the mound. In college football, the new AP poll has dropped. Georgia remains at number 1, followed by Ohio State, Texas, Alabama, and Notre Dame to round out the top 5. Ole Miss is at 6, followed by Oregon, Penn State, Missouri, and Michigan. Clemson falls to 25 after the big loss to Georgia. 9 of the top 10 teams are in the Big Ten or the SEC. The other is independent Notre Dame. Tune in this Saturday at 4:30 as the Furman Paladins take on the Charleston Southern Buccaneers. It's Furman versus Charleston Southern right here on your home for Paladins football. You guessed it, right here. You're listening to it. It is The Fan, Upstate.
Are you frustrated because you've been exercising and eating healthy, but you still can't lose weight? Hi, this is Dr. Elliot Hirschhorn with New Life Weight Loss, and we know the secret to losing weight and getting healthy the natural way without drugs or surgery. At New Life Weight Loss, many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two without prepackaged meals, no exercising, drugs, or surgery because we get to the root cause of your weight. Go to mynewlifeweightloss.com now.
Hey, it's Rob Brown. Listen, I'll be simple. New Life works. I am down 50 pounds in total and 11 inches off the waistline, and I want you to experience that too. Call New Life before the end of September, $250 off.
To learn more about our program, go to mynewlifeweightloss.com to schedule your free consultation. Our expert team will discuss your health goals, help determine the root cause of your weight issues, and put you on a path to success. Call 864-719-2550. That's 864-719-2550 or mynewlifeweightloss.com. That's mynewlifeweightloss.com.
Set your kids up for a lifetime of financial success with Smart Start from Founders Federal Credit Union. Just like learning the rules of football, understanding money management is crucial. Our Smart Start products and educational resources help teach kids the basics of saving, budgeting, and smart spending. Give your young MVPs the skills they need to move the chains on their financial futures. Learn more at foundersfcu.com.
Well, I would say as of now, they would make it in, Zach, but as it, 9 of the top 10 teams are either Big Ten or SEC, and the other team is Notre Dame. So Miami comes in at 12 and Utah at 11. I don't know. It would be a fun playoff if the playoff started right now with the teams that are in there. But I am going to be interested to see how many teams make the playoff that are not Big Ten or SEC.
Zach, right now you are the class of the ACC, but
and still 12th. You're still 12th. That's
well, we're a game, man.
That's what they think of the ACC. We'll see
for sure.
We'll see how it changes throughout the season. But as of now, there's no respect for the best team and supposedly in the ACC.
The question mark is, Zach, and I think it's a fair one to ask. Do you honestly trust Mario Cristobal? Like, that's the question mark. Because the issue has been the last couple of years, I think, has been about Cristobal. Do you trust him when the games start to get heavy? And again, going into Florida, as bad as Florida is, going into the swamp and stomping a mud hole in Florida is very impressive. It is. Here's the other part. The schedule for you guys sets up well because you got to go to Tallahassee, but like Boston College just did win at Tallahassee, stomped Florida State in Tallahassee. Virginia Tech was going to be a big game, but Vandy beat them. And at this point, the most difficult game on the schedule for Miami is Georgia Tech because you got to go to Atlanta. And Georgia Tech might have one loss at that point. They might lose they'll lose to Notre Dame because Notre Dame's pretty good, as I tried to tell you they would be. Notre Dame's good, So that might be an L, and then it's Georgia Tech for Miami. But you don't have Clemson on there this year. Like you're in a pretty good spot.
QC in the first break.
10-4. Our numero dos of the Rob Brown Radio Show gets its start right now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Fan Upstate. I am Rob Brown. The great one Lonzo is on the ones and the twos this morning as we rock and roll through the four most electrifying hours in sports talk entertainment that you will find anywhere on the radio today between the hours of 6 to 10 in the morning. What's up? How's everybody? Y'all good? As we have hit the midweek point. Doesn't even feel like a midweek point because we, if you got lucky, had Monday off. It's only Wednesday. Feels like Tuesday, but it is Wednesday, working towards Thursday. And, of course, Thursday is NFL Week 1. Ladies and gentlemen, it is NFL Eve here on the show, here in America, as the Chiefs and the Ravens get set to play a little NFL football tomorrow evening in what I think is one of the highlight games of the year. Of the year is tomorrow. It is not just the fact that it is game 1, week 1. It is also the fact that this is a rematch of last year's AFC Championship game. And on top of that, whoever wins this game has a full 1-game lead over the other in terms of the opportunity to host the AFC Championship game. And as we have talked about back in the opening part of the last hour, if you're Baltimore, you have to do that. You can't go to Arrowhead again. You get smoked in Arrowhead. It's an unfortunate reality. You can't win there. Nobody can win there. By the way, read a ridiculous stat yesterday. Great one. In the last 22 games, and this is a testament to the fact that when you think Kansas City Chiefs football, you think offense, right? Mahomes, you think Kelsey, you think about those running backs led by Isaiah Pacheco. You think about the addition of Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown. No Hollywood in this contest tomorrow, by the way, but we'll come back to that as we'll preview that game coming up later on. You think about the offense. Here's a testament to Chris Jones and the Chiefs defense. The last 22 games played at Arrowhead in Kansas City, 18-4 to the under. To the under. With the Kansas City offense on the field, these games are 18-4 to the under. Doesn't matter who played. 22 games, 18 of them hit the under. That's ridiculous. And that is, again, that is testament. And I'm going to go one step further, not just to the defense, which it is. And that's going to be a big part of this game tomorrow. It's also testament, great one, to the fact that Andy Reid is a spectacular manager of the game, because what it means is that Kansas City, when they get a team into a spot where they're starting to have to try to make big plays because they're in a hole, what does Andy do? He slows the game down. He burns up clock. He runs the ball. He makes the game. He extends drives without trying to pop big plays because they feel like we need to run it up. A win by 1 counts the same as a win by 40. So let's go out there and let's eat up a ton of time. When you have those two things going for you, that's how the under pops in 18 of 22 games. And that scares me a little bit for Baltimore tomorrow. We're going to talk about the game a little bit later on in the radio broadcast. But it is 7:00. Wait for it. 4 in the morning. You have exactly 56 minutes until you've got to clock in. You got to respond to those passive-aggressive emails from the boss man. You got to pretend like you've got any bit of attention that you are capable of dedicating to work when you know, and I know, and we all know that all you're doing is going 37 hours to kick off, 37 hours to kick off, 37 hours to kick off, 37 hours to kick off. We just got to make it. We just got to make it until tomorrow night at 8 o'clock when we're all sitting in various couches and lawn chairs and blankets on the ground getting set for NFL Week 1, Game 1. Oh, and a pretty good pretty good slate of college football lined up for us this weekend as well. But when you get to work and you got to do all those things, you need to know what's going on in the world of sports. And if you need to know what's going on in the world of sports, ladies and gentlemen, you need us and you need this.
Are you ready for the playbook of the peculiar, the almanac of the absurd, and the encyclopedia of the extraordinary? Well, you better be, because we're diving headfirst into the 3 top stories that will have your coworkers saying,
"What in the wide world of sports is going on here?"
No.
Here we go. Welcome to the water cooler cheat sheet on the Fan Upstate.
It's the water cooler cheat sheet, the top 3 sports stories that you need to know before you get to the office and start talking sports. This Wednesday morning, when you do, this is what you will be talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get the cheat sheet started off with item number 1. Let's jump right in with baseball. Let's just get it out of the way, shall we? The Atlanta Braves dropped 3 out of 4 on the road at the Philadelphia Phillies. I told you going into that series, if the Braves did any worse than a split, you can go ahead and write off their ability to chase down the Phillies and take the NL East championship away from them. That's not happening. The Braves, even after last night's win over the Rockies, which we'll talk about here in just a minute, are 7 games back in the NL East of the Philadelphia Phillies. They are not overcoming that when they're sitting on about 22 games left to play on the docket. They're not chasing them down. Now the question mark for the Atlanta Braves is, can you stay up above the New York Mets? The Mets are just a half game back of the Braves. So you got to win the ones that you got to win if you are Atlanta. And the next 3 are got to win games as you square up with the 51-88 Colorado Rockies. Game 1 in the books last night. The Bravos, a 3-0 win at home in Truist against the Rockies. Chris Sale got credited for his 16th win this season, went 7 innings, gave up 6 hits, no runs allowed, and K'd 9, including K number 200 on the year for Chris Sale. The guy has been a revelation for Atlanta since coming over. We talked about, hey, I don't need Chris Sale to be a monster. I just need Chris Sale to be good. Well, Chris Sale has been a monster, and the only reason the Braves are even in the wild card position they're in over the Mets is in large part because of Chris Sale. It is the first time that he reached the 200K mark since 2019. 7 strong innings in that 3-0 win. The Braves right now leaning on Chris Sale. That is 6 straight for him, gone 15 straight starts, allowing no more than 3 earned runs. He is a guy that was near the top of the AL Cy Young Award balloting. Balloting? Balloting. Yeah, no, I was right. I got this. Balloting for 7 consecutive seasons. He's going to win it this year. He's like minus 5,000 to win the NL Cy Young at this point. Sale allowed come on, Rob. Sale allowed 6 hits, Fan 9 to push his season total to 206, his most since the Red Sox 2019 season when he had 219. Did suffer a series of injuries after that, but he is back. Sale said he doesn't care about the milestone. His only goal, helping the Braves go deep into the playoffs. Well, they're going to have to get into the playoffs before they can go deep into the playoffs, and this win did help as they have got to stay above the Mets. The Mets also got a dub yesterday, meaning the distance stays at 0.5. The Braves offense, which did look like it woke up a little bit in the series leading up to Philly and in the series against Philly, where it just looks like they got beat by a good team in the Philadelphia Phillies, is back to being okay. They got 7 hits last night, 2 from Michael Harris the second, 1 from Marcell Ozuna, 1 from Laureano, 1 from Merrifield, and 2 from Gio Urshela. Remember, he got DFA'd by the Tigers a couple of weeks ago, came over when Austin Riley got banged up. Here's the Braves' MO at this point, all right? Win, survive, get healthy. Win, survive, get healthy. Here is the good news for Atlanta. They've got 2 more against a bad Colorado Rockies team. They're going to have to win those. Charlie Morton goes tonight at 7:20. Reynaldo Lopez goes on Thursday. Then, no days off. Max Fried takes the bump, followed by Spencer Schwellenbach, and then Chris Sale in a 3-game set against Toronto on the 6th, 7th, and 8th. That's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. No days off before they have a 1-game set against the Reds. That's a makeup date. Charlie Morton on the bump. And then September 10th, 11th, they've got the Washington Nationals on the road. Lopez and Fried are scheduled. Then you get into the meat and potatoes down the stretch. On the 15th, 16th, 17th, or 15th, 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th, you got a 4-game set at home against the LA Dodgers, the best team in the National League, coming to Atlanta. Then you turn around a 3-game set against the Reds. The Reds have been kind of a pain for the Braves as they took the first series away from Atlanta. And you got to go to the Great American Ballpark for that. You're back home, you're back on the road for a 3-game set against Miami on the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. Then you've got a 3-game set at the house in what will likely be a must sweep of the New York Mets coming to town, and then a 3-gamer at home in interleague play against the Royals to finish up the season. The Royals are a very good team as well. Not an easy end of the slate for the Bravos in basically a 21-ish game set that they will have to play plus 500 baseball to stay out ahead of the New York Mets. Let's get to item number 2. Your AP Top 25 poll for week number 2 has dropped. No surprise, the Georgia Bulldogs remain on top after their demo job on the Clemson Tigers. They take 57 of 62 first place votes. The other 5 first place votes all went to the Buckeyes of Ohio State, who stay in that number 2 position after they took a little while to get going against Akron. But once they did, there was no slowing down that train. The Bucknuts check in at number 2. In third place, is that one, right? The Longhorns. Don't do that. It's vulgar. The Longhorns at number 3. Alabama jumps to number 4, and Notre Dame rounds out your top 5. The Irish, after going down to the compound and knocking off the Colt, jump 2 spots up. Ole Miss stays in their role at number 6, and look at that. Rob Brown's preseason national championship selection, not a great start. It took the Ducks all 4 quarters to get by the Vandals of Idaho. They dropped 4 positions down to number 7. The biggest movers in the top 10 going the wrong way. Penn State remains solid at number 8. Mizzou jumps up a couple of spots to number 9. They leapfrog Michigan, who falls down to round out your top 10. 11 through 15, the Utah Utes up a spot. The Miami Hurricanes jump 7 spots up to number 12 after they went up to the Swamp and knocked off the Gators in a big one. They're now inside the top 12. The USC Trojans, 10 spots, the biggest movers in the week 1 to week 2 poll. The Trojans, after they get a wild win in a classic against LSU, up 10 spots to number 13. Tennessee is 14. They move up a spot. So does Oklahoma to 15, Oklahoma State to 16, and Kansas State to 17. After that loss to USC, the LSU Tigers are the highest ranked 0-1 team in college football at number 18, down 5 spots after the loss to the Trojans. Kansas moves up 3 spots to 19. The Arizona Wildcats are number 20, up a spot. Iowa moves from 25 to 21, 4 spots up. Louisville was not ranked last week. Georgia Tech was not ranked last week. They are 22 and 23. The NC State Wolfpack stay in their position at 24, and rounding out the top 25, the second highest ranked 0-1 team on the docket, the Clemson Tigers, are at number 25 in this week's AP Top 25 poll. They drop 11 spots after their loss to UGA. So that's where it stands in week number 2. Anything shock you out of that, Zoe?
Clemson still being in the top 25.
I mean, you're going to get some bonus points because you lost to Georgia, even if you got blown out. right? Like there's 2 0-1 teams on the docket, 2 teams with any losses on the docket.
I'm not cracking on Clemson. I know it sounds that way. Why are there any teams in the top 25 with that are 0-1?
LSU's going to
find a couple other teams to throw in there until these teams come back and win some, and then move those guys.
Well, I would point this out. Here are the teams that are next in line. Tell me who you'd replace. Texas A&M, 0-1.
0-1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boston College, they went to Florida State, but the team they beat is now 0-2.
Yeah, but still, Boston College won, right?
They did won.
They won. So why not put them in there?
I mean, I think that's honestly, it's as much a referendum on Florida State as it is on Boston College. For the record, I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first week of this or whatever, and just take teams that haven't won a game and leave them out for this week. They're probably going to right the ship and be back in next week, but leave them out this week. It just doesn't look right.
Top ranked team or top unranked teams: A&M, Boston College, Boise State, Iowa State, Memphis, Nebraska, SMU, Washington, Liberty, Wisconsin, Vanderbilt, Auburn, Tulane, Northern. I'll tell you what, I don't know that Auburn doesn't get a nod. I mean, granted, they beat Alabama A&M, but they put 73 up on them. I don't know that Auburn doesn't deserve the nod.
Still, they put a couple losing teams ahead of them. It doesn't make sense.
I don't disagree. The only thing that makes less sense than the week 2 rankings are the preseason rankings. Am I right, Florida State? Am I right? All right, there you go. And finally, item number 3 on the water cooler cheat sheet. Probably should have got to this yesterday. Didn't get a chance to, and also was working from home and chaos ensued. So I'll do it now. Yesterday, Bryce Young named one of the Carolina Panthers' 6 team captains for the 2023 campaign. Alongside BY, season-long captains will include wide receiver Adam Thielen, right tackle Taylor Moton, linebackers Brian Burns and Shaq Thompson, and punter and friend of the show, Johnny Hecker. When asked what that means to him, the 22-year-old said he's thankful for the process. He said, quote, "It is a real honor. It's something I definitely don't take lightly. It means a lot to me to be a captain, and I'm super grateful for my teammates for accepting me and allowing me to come in. This has been a great experience for me. It's a great locker room, a great coaching staff, and again, everyone just accepting me and allowing me to grow and us to be able to progress as a team. It's something that I really take a lot of pride in. It's a huge honor for me, and obviously there's a responsibility that comes with that as well. So I'm excited for that challenge, and I don't take that lightly." Of course, Bryce Young will get his first start as a captain this Sunday when the Carolina Panthers are down on the Big Easy at 1 p.m. to take on our New Orleans Saints.
What?
I didn't know if you were going to have any commentary.
No, I actually just turned it off. I didn't turn it back on. I was just
okay.
I turned my mic off. No, because there's this thing.
Oh, the break?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that counts. It counts. I did it. And you caught it. Good for you. I might have gotten away with one there, but I didn't.
I got that periphery, the side vision thing, the thing where I can see out to the side.
So you didn't hear me. You saw me. Okay.
All right. When we come back here in just a minute, I have got, and I mean this, maybe the funniest thing I've seen on the internet in a very long time. The Gators got stumped by the Miami Hurricanes. There was a Florida fan who posted a full wholesale meltdown on his Twitter feed from the parking lot of a Denny's. And y'all, when I tell you I was rolling laughing at this guy, sincerely I was. Lonzo and I go play a little game of hold up when we come back with the greatest meltdown from week 1. That's next on the Rob Brown Show with the Fan Upstate.
You see?
All right, guys, quick live when we're back. Good morning. Stay right there. BRB, don't go nowhere. All right, we're back, dudes. Thanks for being there.
By Progressive Insurance. Progressive Insurance makes it easy to save money. When you bundle your auto policy with home, condo, or renters, you'll earn a monthly policy discount. Easy to bundle, easy to save. Visit progressive.com. That's progressive.com.
On your radio at 97.7 FM, 1330 AM, Greenville, 97.1 FM, 950 AM, Spartanburg.
Listen on your phone, download the Odyssey app, and search The Fan Upstate.
There's a whole lot more to know about sound if you really want to go into the subject.
Your smart speaker, just say 97 The Fan Upstate. On your HD radio at WFBC HD3. Just one more time. And on your computer at
TheFanUpstate.com.
Sound off on the text line.
71307.
The Rob Brown Show on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. After the beatdown that was laid upon the Florida Gators by the Hurricanes of Miami, there was a gentleman on Twitter. He's a guy that goes by the name Josh Prey on Twitter. And my dude had a wholesale meltdown about his Gators of Florida. Now it's about 3 minutes. So Lonzo and I are going to break it up here with the little game that we call Hold Up. The game is very simple. We are going to play the audio. And as we go through, anytime that we would like to respond to something, give a thought about something, you just say, hold up. We pause the audio and we roll on with it. So with that being said, here is Josh Prey after the Gators took a butt whooping from the Miami Hurricanes. I'm not even going to tell you where he is because he's going to tell you out the gate.
My name is Josh Prey, and I come to y'all humble as I can. It's game one. I love the Florida Gators. I die for the Florida Gators. The University of Florida football team has been sitting in front of a Denny's, damn it. When the last time you on purpose went and sat in front of a damn Denny's, damn it. I'm not.
All right. I was just, that's fine.
I'm
That's
going to let
two.
you off the hook.
No,
We're playing a game that requires some quick thinking.
No. I messed up. I should be held accountable. All right. Denny's is good. I haven't been there in a while because there's nothing close to us except in like Spartanburg. But I love Denny's. So I don't get why he's so disparaging about Denny's.
I can explain this to you. All right. And I have to acknowledge that this is something that, and this isn't a bad thing, But this is something, Zoe, that because of your lifestyle, you can't understand. There is a massive difference between going to a Denny's to eat and sitting in a Denny's parking lot thinking about your choices that led you there. Okay? There's a difference. If you
is
go,
it a safe parking lot?
No.
Okay. Oh.
If you are, and again, this is one of those things that, like, it's hard for me to explain because you got to be feeling a certain kind of way to pull into a Denny's and be sitting in the parking lot reflecting on your life's decisions, choices, and realities. It's fine to go, I'm going to go to Denny's and get an All-Star. I've gone to Denny's and gotten an All-Star. I've recently gone to Denny's and gotten an All-Star or a Grand Slam or whatever one is at the Denny's. I'm good with that. But if you have ever pulled into a Denny's parking lot, put your car in park, and then just slumped back in your seat because the choices that led you there were either not your own or were real bad. If you've never had to sit and reflect upon how in the hell did I get here, I don't know that you can understand.
All right, so now you make me want to drive to Denny's and just drive around and look at people sitting in their cars. Why is it specifically Denny's that cause people to reflect?
Listen,
is it the sign?
It could be. The same could be said about the Waffle House. The same could be said about any 24-hour diner that has a reputation of being available to you at 3:15 in the morning. All right? I want you to take the mindset and say this game was played from midnight to 3 a.m. and it was 3. If I called you at 3 in the morning and said, Lonzo, I'm sitting here in a Waffle House parking lot thinking about my choices in life, you'd be like, oh.
I would say you shouldn't have put chili on it. That's what I would say.
Right, that's fair.
When you throw the chili on it, you go in a totally different direction.
Time you on purpose went and sat in front of a damn Denny's, damn it. I'm not saying nothing disrespectful to Denny's, but there's a lot of other options. And that Gator team, after watching Miami fans came in there. I've never seen nothing like this. It would look like it was about 12 of them at the start of the game. And then it multiplied. Went from 12 to 20,000 to 40,000. They had a little corner in the left side of the stadium over there, and they were saying things I wanted to know so bad what they was chanting at us. And then the damn quarterback, he was moving in fast, slow motion. He was looking like Neo in the Matrix. He ain't look that great, but damn it, he was great.
All right, hold up. Can you, first off, can you feel the frustration from this guy? Because it's tangible. It's palpable to me. If you put your hand on your speaker in your car, you will feel something, and that's this man's pain. I will tell you, I don't think in sports, I don't think there is a worse feeling, great one, than being at a game and realizing that the away team has taken over your stadium. I don't know if you've ever had that experience before. I have. I'm a Saints fan. Not only were my team real bad for the overwhelming majority of my life, but we are also, I believe, now with the exemption of Vegas, the most traveled to NFL city. We bring in more away fans than any other stadium in America. Now, the Saints fans have long been known for doing a wonderful job of owning the majority of the seats in the dome. But for years growing up, it was not uncommon to go to a Saints game, and by the end of the third quarter, when the visiting team, it didn't matter who it was up 42-0, to realize they own the stadium now. It stinks.
I am 40. I'm trying to lose weight. The doctor said if I yell, my blood pressure going to be high. My blood pressure is higher than Carmen Electra ass in the 90s.
That's the greatest metaphor I've ever heard. That's the greatest metaphor I've ever heard. I have heard
higher, and then I don't
higher than Carmen Electra's ass in the 90s.
No. I remember Carmen Electra vividly because everyone does. But I'm just trying to remember why her butt was higher.
Because she had them legs and she wore them like 12-inch stilettos when she was on MTV.
Okay, all right. So this is probably a shorter guy. Okay.
Right now, you understand me? I am in front of a damn Denny's right now. A Denny's right now. That is Denny's out there. Florida Gators, y'all supposed to make me want to go to Roof Chris. Y'all supposed to make me want to go to Roof Chris and get a medium steak, because I know how to eat a medium steak now, in the water with a couple lemon. I want to be exotic. I throw a lime in there. But no, you got me in Denny's where I'm not sure if the damn plates are clean and they wash their forks. But you know what? I don't care. I ain't finna go in here and ask for no plastic. My fat ass finna go in here and sit at the bar. You know how pathetic I gotta be to sit at a damn bar in Denny's?
All right.
I felt that.
All
I
right,
felt that in my soul.
That got me again.
Felt
But-
that in my soul.
So I've just lost the entire week. I don't care. Okay, so I don't drink, but I realize there are certain places where you see people at the bar at those restaurants. Those are, it is pretty pathetic. There, Applebee's. There's just a couple places you go in and you know they're regulars because the bartender calls them by name, and I just did. Yeah.
So
By the way, I didn't know Denny's had a bar.
It's all right. So it's not a bar like you go in and get drinks. It means bar like literally a long road.
So like the breakfast bar.
It's
All right.
it's literally, it's like a bar, but it's the bar at a Denny's is for people who are by themselves at a Denny's, right? And Denny's is one of those places that, like, you can go by yourself and it's like it's fine, but like Denny's is a place you go with people, right? You go with the
Yeah.
people you were out
Yeah.
drinking with, or you go with your family after church on a Sunday, or whatever you're going to do. If you're in a Denny's at the breakfast bar by yourself in the daytime, yeah, some questionable decisions got made.
I'm not going to Tootsie's no more in Miami. I'm not going to Tootsie's. I am going to Tootsie's.
Okay. Hold up.
I'll fix you now. Tootsie's is a strip club in Miami.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right.
Y'all took everything else away from me. You might as well take the rest of the little bitty ass money I got, because y'all came to Gainesville on the damn Saturday at 3:30 and ruined my damn day. I got a whole night to go through. It was so many. Care what lie I said that. Stop I say. They throwing up the stupid ass you, touching their thumbs at the same time. And then the Miami women fan base is so damn fine that you mad and you angry, but everything they wearing is hypnotic. I'm talking about from 25 to 65. I seen a woman that was 72 years old with a white sweater. Baby, I can't.
All right, hold up. He's kind of right about that. I'm gonna say this, Miami. I can't stand the Miami Hurricanes. I can't stand the fans. I can't stand the program. I can't stand nothing about a Miami Hurricane, but I'm gonna tell you right now, the Miami Lady fans are
I can't go through this no more. I can't do this no more. All I want to do is tell jokes and root for the Gators, and we win a little bit. I understand we're going to lose sometimes. My delusion has become real. My delusion has become real. My delusion is real. I am in front of a damn Denny's right outside of Gainesville, and I am stressed. My box is just broke right now.
This dude went full scale meltdown, and it's the best thing I've ever heard on the internet. Incredible. That's just phenomenal. That's because if you haven't been there, you can't understand. All right. If you haven't ever been in a spot where you're in a Denny's parking lot at 5 p.m, questioning your life choices, I can't explain it to you. I can't help you understand. But if you've been in a spot where you're in a Denny's parking lot at 5:30 p.m, and you're asking yourself, how in the hell did I get here? You know this man's pain. You know this man's frustration. You know why this guy feels the way that he feels, and everything he said's right. Miami went into the swamp and they took everything from the Gators, everything from them. And the most important thing he said, he's right. He's right. All of that. He's right about every bit of it. He's right about the Miami women. He's right about Cam Ward, who was moving in, quote, slow, fast motion, because Cam was deliberate. My man put himself on the Heisman, not in the Heisman map. He's the Heisman favorite after week 1. That's how good Cam Ward was. I have never, and I mean never, felt the pain of a dude off the internet like I heard that and went, I get you, bro. I feel you. Josh, I'm thinking about you, brother. Josh, I'm with you in spirit. I'm with you in thought, my guy. I'm here for you. Anything I can do, you reach out. I got you, my man. I got you. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show with the Fan Upstate. That's the best thing. That's the best thing. All right, guys, give me 30 seconds. I'll be right back. I think he may be a comedian, and it looks like, according to William, he is. But I'm gonna tell you right now, those were the words of a comedian, but the pain of a football fan. I felt that. The Rob Brown Show on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. Robin, the Great One, Lonzo with you, rolling through a Wednesday AM here on the show. I want to address something very quickly. It is this. Since the Clemson loss to Georgia, it has gotten to the point where I am getting a little bit frustrated. And I'm getting frustrated with I'm going to use the word criticism, and I think that's probably the right word. But the criticism of Clemson and Dabo Swinney, and I'll tell you why. And it's a weird thing because it's going to sound like a defense out front and then turn around and sound like I'm on the offensive. And that is because that's exactly what's happening. That's why. I have listened to, I don't know how many college football radio shows and watched, I don't know how many college football television shows and reviews and recaps from week one. And it's the same take on every show. Oh, this is a result of Dabo not working the transfer portal. This is a result of Dabo Swinney not adapting to modern day college football. And I do want to be very clear. That's absolutely a part of it. Okay? That's absolutely a part of it. Is it the only part of it? No, it's not. It's not the only part of it. But it is absolutely a part of it. And anyone who says anything to the contrary is just incorrect. It is a lack of addressing a lack of depth via the portal. It is a lack of filling 1 year needs via the portal. And these are things that I don't think that you can get away without doing in modern era college football. But that's not the only thing, right? There's more to it that has to be pointed out. There's more to it that has to be talked about. And this is where the switch goes from sounding like I'm on the defense to sounding like I'm on the offense. And the reason is, again, that's because I am. I think saying those things are fine. Yes. I think Dabo is going to have to get over the loyalty thing. They made an effort during the broadcast of Clemson and Georgia this past Saturday afternoon. They made an effort of building a whole graphic to point out that since the transfer portal opened, Clemson has 0 starts made by transfers in. Not a one. Since the beginning of the portal era, Clemson has had 0 starts made by transfers in. I think it is fair to point out that the philosophy is not working. Now, let me go back on the defensive for a minute here. I do want to point out that while it was a butt-whooping of a loss, it certainly was, I also want to point out that the overwhelming majority of teams that that Georgia is going to play during this season are going to take butt whoopings from Georgia, because Georgia is, and I've done the research on this, really good at football. Kirby Smart's done a real good job, all right? And in fact, some teams are probably going to catch it worse than Clemson did, because you'll remember Georgia came into this game without their top 2 running backs, Roderick Robertson and Travis Etienne. So they're going to be even better on the run than they were. I feel awful for Tennessee Tech this weekend. They're going to lose by 70 plus. They're going to get mauled and manhandled. Georgia might be running their backups for XP by the second half of this game. I think Kentucky is going to catch a similar beatdown to the one that Georgia took. I think Mississippi State is going to take a beatdown similar to the one Clemson took. I think Florida might catch a worse beatdown because Georgia probably won't, pardon the expression, call off the dogs when they play Florida. Poor UMass at the end of the year. UMass is their warm-up game before rivalry weekend against Georgia Tech. And I think, frankly, as good as I think Tech is this year, I don't even think Georgia Tech, which might have the best offensive and defensive lines in the ACC this year. No, that's not a joke. I tried to tell you that before the season started. They're probably going to take a similar whooping, all right? Most teams that play Georgia are going to be beat like or worse than Clemson got beat. That's why I said going into this game, the question mark was not, will Clemson win? The answer is no, they're not going to. The question mark is, will they compete? Will they be competent? Will they be confident in the way that they compete? And the answer was no, they weren't. No, they weren't. And no, they didn't. But to say that that is exclusively because Clemson did not compete in the portal, that's the problem. And for the record, this is more a problem with the media than it is with Clemson. It's a media problem that it's got to be effectively a lazy take at this point to go, oh, well, if Dabo just used the portal, I got to tell you right now, would it matter? Would it help? Yeah, no, I definitely think it would. Would it have mattered in this game? I don't know. Because the criticisms that I have about this game run a hell of a lot deeper than just get a transfer guy in. Now, there are some spots I think that would be an immediate help. Here, let's play the Rob Brown Show Home Edition. After what we saw out of Cam Ward down at Miami, a transfer in, didn't even have a full offseason with his team. After what we saw out of Cam Ward down in Miami, quick question, Zoe. Take off the hater hat and put on just your as objective as possible football analyst hat. Would Clemson have been better with Cam Ward at quarterback in this game?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Although I will say, Cam is thriving in an offense that works for him. We don't know that he doesn't come into Clemson and have to play this offense. So I think the question is, can that quarterback or any other really good quarterback come in and play the Clemson way offense and make it a winning offense?
And there you have it. Lonzo, unsurprisingly, because he does all the time, but Lonzo, unsurprisingly, just made a point that I have heard few to no big-time college football talking heads make. It is, if you go back the last 2 weeks leading up to this game, there was something that I said, a quote that we got from Dabo a year and a half ago during the 2023 Clemson open house down in Pickens County. That kind of stuck with me, and it has stuck with me since that point in time. We were talking with Dabo Swinney at that open house. It was an open media session. Mark Ryan and I were down there that day. Garrett Riley was making his first big rounds with the local media since he had been hired as the offensive coordinator for Clemson. And Dabo Swinney said, we did not hire Garrett Riley to Clemson to run the Garrett Riley offense. We hired Garrett Riley for Garrett Riley to run the Clemson offense. It feels stale. It feels stale. It feels predictable. It feels kind of boring. It feels to me, great one, and this is my primary takeaway / criticism / concern. It feels to me that for a very long time, this offense worked, but it worked because you had Deshaun and Trevor and Taj and Kelly and this string of good quarterbacks, 2 great quarterbacks, to hell, maybe generational quarterbacks that came through Clemson. And it feels like when you have generational quarterbacks, the offense worked. And when you don't have a generational quarterback, it doesn't. And does that not kind of feel not just correct, but like the biggest problem right now? It feels like you have a somewhat bland, somewhat boring, predictable offense that works great when you have generational quarterbacks. And we've been spending so much time talking about the quarterback. Let's also point out they also had some pretty damn good wide receivers coming through that program for a hot minute there.
And pretty good running backs.
Pretty good running backs too.
I know you think Moffa's the guy, but back when they had those generational quarterbacks and great receivers, they also had a really good running game.
I don't disagree.
By the way, Clemson's defense is still good.
It is, which is why, by the way, Georgia didn't pull away until late third quarter. Right? They kept you in that game until late third quarter, until they were just out of gas because Clemson had short possessions. The defense was caught. They were the 2023 Carolina Panthers. That defense looked real good until they were just out of steam because they got asked to do so much for such a long period of time. That's kind of how I felt about that game. So I do think that there are still great running backs. I think Will Shipley was very good. I think Phil Maffa's a guy, but much like Bryce Young in Carolina, I think because they are being asked to do so much in so many high-pressure situations, at the end of the day, Georgia was able to put extra guys in the box. And don't be shocked if Kentucky does the same thing from defensive play number 1 this Saturday. Just stack extra dudes in the box. Why? Because we're not afraid of anything outside of 7, 8, 9, 10 yards. We're just not. So to me, there's a couple of problems. Number 1, the offense, again, predictable, bland, vanilla. It's the same offense it's been for years. There's very little in the way of tinkering, toying, changing, adapting. There's very little in the way of evolving that offense. It's just there's nothing that makes you go, oh, what a wrinkle, right? And as a dude who's been there before, The word wrinkle carries a lot of weight when it comes to coaches. You got to put a wrinkle in the offense. I'm not saying you got to dramatically change it. I'm not saying you got to come out and all of a sudden next week Clemson's running a 5-wide shotgun air raid offense or a double wing I formation power and veer option offense. I'm saying run your offense, but start putting wrinkles, changes, differences in there that make defenses go, oh, we haven't seen that before. We better play more honestly, because right now they're not. And then you talk about development. The entire offseason, we spent asking the question, will Cade look different? Will he look better? Will he look developed? Now, let's put it in the context of he was playing a real damn good defense. Georgia's defense is going to be one of the best in the country. They have and have had for a number of years now one of the best defensive lines annually in football. No quarterback is going to have an easy day when they take on the Georgia Bulldogs. I want to put it in that context, but my question mark is this. Even knowing that it was in the face of that Georgia defense, one of the best in the game, a defensive line specifically that will be one of the top 3, 4, 5 defensive lines in football this year. Here's my question. Did Cade look different than he did last year? Was there anything? I will ask the most homerific of you Clemson fans listening right now. And I know you're not, because I know you're listening to somebody else, and that's okay. But those of you that are, I'll ask the most homerific of you. Was there anything in this game that you looked at and went, there's Cade, there's that 5-star, there's the next guy? Because I got to tell you, I didn't. I know I've kind of hammered and ridden the dead horse that is that opening play from scrimmage where he hit Phil Maffa in the cleats on what would have been a first down. I'm not saying Phil would have scored. I don't think he would have, because the defensive backs for Georgia are quick. But Phil Maffa catches that football, he's got 10, 12 yards. You put a punch to the throat on the opening play by picking up a 1-snap, 1-throw first down and moving, if not into, very close to Georgia territory right out of the gate, and there's a different vibe. Now Georgia's on their heels from snap one. Instead, Cade cleated Phil Maffa, and you end up with 2nd and 10, and now you're playing behind the sticks a little bit. That's a problem. Was there anything at all, anything in this game at all, that you look and went, Cade's developed, Cade's better than last year? Because my answer is, Lonzo, not a thing.
I hate to say this. I think he looked worse.
I mean,
but let's revisit this like 4 games from now.
And it's fair. It is fair to say I'll make my determination after the next 2 weeks. It is fair to say I will make my determination after App State comes to the house, because that's not a lay down football team. They're going to fight. They won another Michigan upset. And while coming into Clemson, I don't know how it compares to going into the big house and beating Michigan, but it would absolutely be one App State would hang on for years.
Well, Michigan, if I recall, was ranked really high. So at least from that standpoint,
sure,
it
would be an AP
upset.
top 25 win, though. On the road in a big-time stadium. That would be big. I'll tell you when I'll tell you. Week 5, after the NC State game. Because NC State, even though they didn't look great in week 1, NC State's defense is a Bulldog offense, or defense too. They're going to attack you right out of the gate. So that's when I think we'll be able to know. But what I saw in week 1, nothing I loved. Texter said, the first play of the game, I went, yep, that's Cade. Yeah, same thing. Texter said, something did change. His hair was a little longer. It was. And he's got great lettuce, by the way. It's got a great vibe.
And they didn't go to his strength that much. He didn't hand off as much as he used to.
Texter said, you guys just nailed everything about Clemson, and I've been listening to sports shows the past 3 days with dumbasses trying to explain it. You guys just nailed it. The offensive strategy has to change. John Dog says, Clemson just ran into a juggernaut. They'll be okay. And Texter said, hopefully the rest of Clemson's season doesn't end up like the 23 Panthers as well. Texter said, don't put Kelly Bryant in with those quarterbacks. I put Kelly Bryant more with those quarterbacks than I do Cade Klubnik.
You know, it's always
You've been saying that to me for a while.
Bothered me when you put Kelly Bryant in there, but he's better than the last 2 guys probably.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm leaning on.
I mean, yeah, the more you say it, the more I'm like, yeah, okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Kelly Bryant of sports flashes, Lonzo.
Yeah, I can't remember to turn my
5?
mic on. That's proof. In college football, the new AP poll has dropped Georgia. Remains at number 1, followed by Ohio State, Texas, Alabama, and Notre Dame to round out the top 5. Ole Miss is at 6, followed by Oregon, Penn State, Missouri, and Michigan. Clemson falls to 25 after the big loss to Georgia. 9 of the top 10 teams are in the Big Ten or the SEC. The other is independent Notre Dame. Yesterday, the Atlanta Braves started a 3-game set against the Rockies with a 3-0 win at home. Chris Sale surpassed his 200 strikeout on the season in a 9K, 7-inning shutout performance, earning his 16th win of the year. Game 2 is tonight at 7:20 with Charlie Morton on the mound. Make sure you tune in this Saturday at 4:30 as the Furman Paladins take on the Charleston Southern Buccaneers. It's Furman versus Charleston Southern right here on your home for Paladins football, The Fan, Upstate.
Bum, ba, ba, da, da, bum, 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 ba, da, 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 bum, ba, da.
I don't know, Steven. Didn't DJ win you more games? I'll have to go back and look, but for some reason, I think that's true. New life in the first break.
New life in the first break.
Yeah, I did. It was pretty bad. But again, I still think he won. I have to go back and look. I think he won more games for you than what Cade has.
It is the Rob Brown Show. It is the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Great to have you as we start hour number 3 here on the show. I want to dive right into a segment that we are going to do at least once a week. How often we do it, I'm not entirely sure yet, but it is something we're going to try now. It is a segment that I call the Audio Blitz. Long story short, Zoe and I are going to run through some of our favorite audio that we picked up off of social media. It's brand new. I didn't even tell Lonzo we're doing this today. That's how new it is. It's so new.
You included me as if I had some audio, and it's like, okay, I have flashbacks to somebody else.
No, I know.
Where's the audio, Lonzo?
As radio goes, nothing's original, everything's a rip. All right, and this is mine.
No,
but it's good.
I
It's
just
good
meant.
rip.
I just meant.
I know
that I was supposed to have audio ready. Supposedly,
Oh, no.
I didn't have. Yeah. It's
I got us plenty.
hey, thank you for carrying us.
It's it's what I do. Let's start with this. Penn State's got a new man at the OC. His name is Andy Kotelnicki. He's going to be calling the plays for Penn State. And I will say this, went pretty well in game 1 against West Virginia University. Penn State went into Morgantown, West Virginia, and took away a W and never really let West Virginia be all that much in the game. Every time West Virginia put a little something together, Penn State answered. And a lot of that had to do with that the fact that for the first time in a long time, Penn State kind of felt like they had a bit of explosion in the offense. Yeah, kind of felt like Drew Aller was allowed to be that guy instead of not that guy. Andy Kotelnicki was asked about his offensive philosophy after that game, and he gave one of my favorite answers, and you will hear why. Here's Andy.
The blizzard in itself, right, is a wonderful dessert, right, which we should all use in moderation, correct? Okay. In itself looks complicated because it's messy inside, right? And the person working there puts it in the machine and the ice cream. But fundamentally, it's mostly made up of what? Vanilla ice cream. So if you could equate offensive football to your favorite blizzard and understanding that what it's going to look like is going to be looking like a messy piece of deliciousness, but fundamentally is composed of really just vanilla ice cream and your favorite candies, right? That's when we talk about simplicity versus complexion, right? So it's going to look really complex, but really at the end of the day, it's just two ingredients mixed together.
Oh, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Number one, because I love the philosophy. Simplicity equals complexity. That is why I'm a fan. And, the only thing that there are three things that I draw from when we do sports analogies: food, relationships, and music. Those are the three things. I'm going to go with the music one here. My favorite band of all time, and you can blame my father for this, my favorite band of all time is the Eagles. Do you know why I love the Eagles? Because it is complexity through simplicity. The Eagles don't do anything fancy. Everything they play are GCD songs, but they do two things. They put them together in fun orders, and then they have a great guitar player. Joe Walsh goes out there and he just solos over the top of it, A, and B, they just harmonize. Everything is harmonized, and everything is beautifully harmonized. Eagles music is not complex. In fact, it's so simple that I, a novice guitar player, can play most Eagles songs. All right? Simplicity. But number two, my man went straight for the food. He went to but not just the food, but great food. He went straight to the blizzard. He said, look, at the end of the day, it's vanilla ice cream and your favorite candy. It's simple, but it's mixed up, and it's mixed up in a way that makes it delightful. I love this take from Andy Kotelnicki, offensive coordinator from Pennsylvania State University.
It's also a perfect description of this show. You're vanilla, and I'm everyone's favorite candy.
That's it. Lonzo is just sugar sweet over there. Just sugar sweet. All right, let's get to another one. Ladies and gentlemen, nobody likes wrestling. Hey, wrestling's overrated. It's boring. Nobody likes it. Anyway, for no reason at all, in their game this weekend, the Arkansas Pine Bluff Band decided they were going to drop a little something on us. And yeah, I am going to play it because it's amazing. Are you going to do the thing? I'm going to do the thing.
Are you gonna do it? Okay. I thought we missed a window, but there is another window coming up. I mean,
I see you, Arky Pine Bluff. Ready? Here goes. Wow!
It was still really loud. That's what I want you to know.
I backed way up.
You did.
I backed
You
way
did.
up.
You know-
Anyway, this is the Arkansas Pine Bluff Band playing as their hype song, Cody Rhodes' entrance music, a song called Kingdom.
You know what it is? They have adrenaline in their soul. The people who don't like wrestling, they don't.
They don't have adrenaline
They
in their
have
soul.
adrenaline in their soul.
Oh, and they killed the whole thing.
We're getting flagged for this probably.
No, we're not. I don't think that's trademarked, so we're good. We're good. I'm
Is
rolling
it?
with it.
Oh, it's absolutely trademark. But I don't understand. I don't know if a band playing another band, if orchestra would be flagged. We'll find out. I'm sure you're listening, Russia. You'll let us know.
Whoa! I love it. Well
Bel-
done, Arky Pine Bluff.
Belarus already had their finger on the button.
God, I love college football bands so much. Can we keep it about? You want to know what killed me? You know what killed me? Florida State, Boston College this weekend. Florida State made a decision this offseason I didn't know they made. I was very upset about it. Just on behalf of Florida State fans. They decided then in the stadium, Lonzo, on third downs when the defense is out there on the field, on third down, they're not doing the tomahawk chop anymore. They have a live DJ mixing songs for third down hype. They got rid of the chop, which used to be a thing. That's a thing. If you want, ladies and gentlemen, if you're one of these people who's gotten real mad about traditions dying in college football, these are the things you get mad at. Not the portal, not NIL. Get mad at this. Get mad at the fact that on third downs in Tallahassee, they don't play the chop anymore. Now they have a DJ playing remixes. And by the way, half the songs they played were like terrible EDM remixes of 90s songs. What are we doing here? Florida State, what are we doing?
See, I'm not
That's
worried.
trash.
I'm not worried about that because I get to watch the band every Saturday.
Grambling?
The band.
Oh, Southern. Southern is the band.
The
I'm going to tell you right
band.
now, I'll take Grambling or Southern, and I'll put them up against any band you want to put from a Power 4 conference. I'll put
No
the
way.
Southern Bayou Classic is a concert that has a football game wrapped around
By the
it.
way, they're really good bands, but they're not the band.
No, they are both the band. There are two the bands, and it's Grambling and Southern.
Combined, they're not the band.
Oh, they are it. They are it. All right, let's keep going. Brian Kelly after the loss to USC on
Good,
Sunday
because I
night.
still haven't heard this.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
Well, you will now in the audio blitz.
We had some guys played their butts off tonight, and we're sitting here again. We're sitting here again talking about the same things, about not finishing when you have an opponent in a position to put them away. But what we're doing on the sideline is feeling like the game's over. And I'm so angry about it that I got to do something about it. I'm not doing a good enough job as a coach. And I got to coach him better because it's unacceptable for us not to have found a way to win this football game. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
I prefer a coach to come out and say, hey, I coached them as best as anybody could. Sometimes you think someone has talent and then they go out and prove you wrong. If anything, maybe I got to get my eyesight checked because these guys were ready. They went out there and they're just not good enough.
I got to tell you, I really did think when that clip started, I thought that's what Brian Kelly was going to do. I really thought that's what BK was going to do. I thought he was going to go, and I don't know what the hell they were doing. I've told him not to do that. I've told him. You know what it felt like to me? You ever been out in public and there's like a kid that misbehaves and the parent apologizes to everybody else, but they're like, I don't know why he's acting like this. I've taught him better than this. I'm like, no, you clearly didn't. Clearly you didn't, because if you taught him better than that, he wouldn't do that.
That's not true. That's not true.
I mean, I'm not a parent, so I don't know.
It's not true. You can have the most best, well-behaved kids. They're going to have that day. And that day is always going to happen in public where there's a lot of people. It's always going to happen.
I mean, in that case, then I would say you coached your kid the right way, but they didn't listen to you. They didn't take it. And that, to me, that's on you as a dad/head coach.
What I should have done is go, okay, how would you handle this? Hey, mister, hey, miss, how would you handle this?
I don't know. That's why I don't have to handle it.
Yeah, obviously, I don't know what I'm doing, and you seem to know how to take care of it. Would you please come and help me? Tell me what to do.
No, I won't. It's your responsibility.
You're judging me. Help me fix it.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And see, that's the difference is I ain't got to cater a football team, so I don't have to be responsible for it.
Is your dog always good? or does your dog ever, have a day where you're just like, what are you doing, dog?
My dog's great because I'm a great head coach.
Uh-huh.
I'm a great head coach. Hey, let's go to Scotty Scheffler won a lot of money this past weekend as he finished off his run to the FedEx Championship by playing very good golf. Well, on Sunday, Scotty had an opportunity coming out of a trap to make something happen, and he had one of his very few not good shots on the weekend. Late in the round, Scotty coming out of the bunker absolutely shanked the crap out of him. He Rob Browned out of the bunker. Wanted to go that way, went 45 degrees that way. It was real bad. Well, a reporter asked Scotty Scheffler after the round, what happened? And Scotty said this.
What happened on that shot out of the bunker?
I shanked it.
Why did you shake it?
So there's the club, like there's the straight part of the face, and then over here is the hosel. And on that one specifically, I caught too much of that part of the face. And that's why I went to the right. So it's shaped kind of, a little curve. And then, so like if I hit the straight part, it's going to go that way.
No, I
straight.
get that.
And then if I hit this part, it's going to come, towards you.
I know the season. Thank you.
I knew you were going to be here for smart-ass Scotty. I knew you were going to be here for
Especially
sarcastic Scotty.
This is one of the things that I sent you that you ignored. But,
I only have it because you sent it to me.
Oh, okay.
That's directly where I pulled it from.
Sure. You didn't make eye contact when you said that, but that's fine.
Because I was looking at the next clip. I got plenty more to get to.
Okay. All right.
Point here is, I like smart-ass Scotty. I like prison Scotty with jokes.
Why is it okay for him to be that way towards the media, but you get all upset when when Prime does it?
There's a difference between being a smart-ass and being an ass. There's a gulf of difference. It is an art form.
Some would say I don't know the difference.
Oh, no. There are days when walking that razor thin line and stuff. There are days when you think you're being a smartass, but you're just being a regular one. And there's days when you're trying to be a sarcastic and you're nailing it. There's a big difference. All right. And walking that line is tough. That's why it's an art form to get away with it.
Jury's out on today. I'm not quite sure.
You're doing okay. You're doing okay today. You're more Scheffler than Dion today. You're more Scotty than Prime today, is what I'll say. I love that. And I love it because, sometimes the answer is, I screwed up. Do you think that I intended to go 45 degrees the wrong damn way? I screwed up. I hit the ball bad. What happened? I hit it bad.
I hope the boss is listening because sometimes there's no explanation other than, hey, I forgot or sorry, I messed up.
Yeah.
I mean, I could sit here for like 35 minutes, but it's not going to change. I don't know why I did that. I just did it.
Now, I will say this. It becomes a problem if you make a lot of mistakes and you cover all of them up with, I screwed up. Right? It's another thing when you make, like Lonzo and I, very few mistakes. Like once a year do we make a mistake. But when you do and you go, I screwed up. I forgot. I got carried away. I was busy, whatever. That happens. And I think it's important that we recognize that. So I love that a golf dude, clearly not a PGA Tour player, asked the best player on planet Earth, hey, what happened when you hit it bad? And his answer was, I hit it bad.
Yeah,
that's phenomenal.
That was a great answer. And what was that word? Gozzle? What was it?
Hosel.
Hosel.
That is
Gozzle.
so where the
oh no, I understood from his explanation.
Where the shaft of the club goes into the head of the club. In the transition, there's a little part where it stays round till you get to the bottom. And if you hit that, which happens to everybody, it's chaos. I love Scotty going, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. And then, ladies and gentlemen, as we got time for one or two more, let's go to a little Canadian football. I don't even need to set this one up. Punter hits board, referee goes funny. Here it is.
Points on board. That hits the scoreboard. It comes bouncing down at the 35. Flintoff hammered that right into the Jumbotron here at BC Place.
The kick hit the scoreboard, which is pretty odd. We're going to redo everything. We'll redo the play. We'll reset the clock to 2:44 with the new 20-second clock.
Can we just make Canadians in charge of everything?
Well, first of all,
they're the best.
The announcer sounded really Canadian. They just get that little bit of, And so, like, the ball hit the board, So,
For the record, the dude who said the punter hit the board, and that's odd, that was the head referee making the call.
And very Canadian.
Yeah.
Yes, very much so.
Can we just make Canadian? Like, I just want Canadian guys forever. I just want Canadian guys calling every sport. I want hockey called by Canadians. I want NFL called by Canadians. Because Canadians, whenever something like that happens, they're just naturally hilarious in their reactions. Like a Canadian ref went, that was old. I don't know what that's all about. That's just absolutely spectacular. Phenomenal. Xavier Legette was on the sidelines for the South Carolina game against Old Dominion. He did a quick interview.
Xavier, what does this feel like for you being on the sidelines as opposed to being out there?
Oh, man, it's great, man. Just being able to come watch the younger guys that I played with last year, man. It seems like they're excited, man, and they ready to play. And, man, the fans, they brought the energy out here for them as well.
Oh, yeah, this energy is unmatched. Drafted by the Panthers, so you're right down the road. I know it's just been the preseason, but how has that transition been for you from college to the professional level?
The transition has been pretty good for me, man. It's a little faster start playing in the NFL. But I had a little downtime, man. I deal with a couple of injuries, but, man, I'm back on track now, and everything's going great for me.
And Xavier, rare in today's world to have someone spend their entire college career at one place. What does this school, this program mean to you?
Oh, man, this program mean a lot to me. It got me where I am today. And, man, I'm very happy for this place, man, and it's going to continue to grow.
All right, what do you think so far about Lenore Sellers in this offense?
Oh, man, well, being able to be here with him last year and work out with him during the whole season last year, man, I know he's going to be a great player. And I like the way that he's doing what he's doing out there now.
All right, Xavier, thanks so much. We're excited to watch you in the NFL.
I appreciate y'all.
I don't have any thoughts. I just wanted to listen to him talk again. That was it. I've got nothing to add. I've got nothing to critique. I've got nothing to criticize. Here's what I want. I've just built it. Zach tipped me off. Here's what I want. I want every television sport, Lonzo. I want it called by Snoop Dogg, a Canadian guy, and Xavier Legette. That's what I want. I want a Canadian guy on play-by-play, Snoop on color, and Xavier as my field reporter. That would be the greatest television box of all time. I don't even need to say it.
That'll be great, man.
That's it. All right, there it is. The audio blitz, my favorite audio from social media over the past couple of days. Will we do it every day? Will we do it every other day? Will we do it on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays? Just on Wednesdays? I don't know. I just got to see how we felt about it. Do we like it? Do we not like it? Is it too much of a ripoff? I don't know. I don't care.
Of course, I'd love it. How is it a ripoff to play audio?
Joey B said you had two generational quarterbacks and two great quarterbacks. I will not take Kelly Bryant's slander. Dude took Clemson to the playoff, and if not for a bum ankle that Dabo had him play through, they'd have gone undefeated.
All I got to say is that thanks, Dad. I'm glad you will not take it.
Texter said, my wife was watching the game with me when Xavier did that interview, and she looked at me and was like, is he dumb? And I'm like, no, he's awesome. I want his jersey. I'm going to tell you right now, I have never once in my life considered buying a Carolina Panther jersey, but if I'm ever obligated to, Xavier Legette's the only one I want. And I love Luke Kuechly, but Xavier Legette's my dog.
Yeah, I have a Luke Kuechly jersey at home.
I don't blame you, but Xavier Legette's my guy. All right, let's talk more football. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Good life.
All right, guys, quick live, and we're back. Stay right there for me, please, and thank you. I think I've took a year. We've been in the show about a year now, right? In this slot, about a year.
It was September or October.
Yeah.
I can't, it was around this time
Around
when we
this time, I
started
thought.
doing it. Yeah.
So I think after about a year, I think I've found the rhythm, which is if I'm gonna siesta, I've got to be back awake by 3:30. Because if I'm asleep after 4 o'clock taking a nap, I'm not going to sleep on time or
Yeah.
semblance of on time that night. But if I'm up between 3 and 3:30, I can usually get myself to at least go lay down by 9 and let myself get tired and fall asleep. If I'm still asleep at like 4:30 or worse when Courtney gets home from work, I'm not going to bed till midnight.
Well, my problem right now is I have to pick her up at 2:50. So I get home, make myself something to eat. I got a half hour if I want to try to nap.
Yeah.
And as soon as I eat, I wake up. So I can skip the meal, but then I'm going to be drowsy because I haven't eaten. It's just, I've got to get better at doing power naps again.
Yeah. See, 15-minute naps don't work for me. They don't do anything.
Yeah. I need an hour and I can't get that. There's one way I could get an hour, and that would be is if I bring enough food to eat again before I leave and go home.
Yeah.
And then I could just go straight home and go to sleep. And I finally started using my phone as an alarm so I don't mess with my other alarm for that. And it seems like it's loud enough, but I'm worried I'm going to sleep through it. And if I do, then she's stuck there with no one to pick her up. And I guess I'll just stay sleepy. And root for Thursday every week because
Root for Thursday.
Raven's off on Thursdays and I don't have her on Thursdays. Mad World in the next break.
Mad World in the next break.
I know it sounds like I'm complaining. I'm enjoying my time getting to spend with my granddaughter. I'm just old. And you feel older when you're doing that stuff. Got her a 200-piece puzzle yesterday, though. We're working on that.
Like that.
She doesn't understand what an edge is for the edge pieces. But it was Disney princesses. She put all the princesses together.
Okay.
So
I mean, it's starting from the inside out, but you got to learn somewhere. Coming up in the next segment, Lonzo and I will take a look. Yesterday, we did the AFC and the NFC East. Today, we do the AFC and the NFC North. We will take a look at the teams that are in those two divisions and pick our champion, see if there's any surprises. Can I run one by you?
I just want to say this is going to be the hardest one, the AFC North.
The NFC North might not be easy. I mean, it might not be an easy one either. Detroit, NFC Championship game appearance. Chicago Bears, rookie quarterback in Caleb Williams, but he looked spectacular in the regular season, and they've built an incredible core of skill position players, and a lot of folks think Chicago's defense is going to be one of the best in the league. And, of course, you got the Packers. Was Jordan Love for real last year? Will he be able to maintain that success for the Pack? The only team that's probably not in the mix, really, in these two divisions, great one. There's only one team that's not in contention for the title, and that's the Vikings because of the loss of J.J. McCarthy. I don't know if they would have been with J.J. McCarthy, but with the loss of J.J. McCarthy, now I definitely don't think they are. I think there's 7 teams in these two divisions that could be divisional champs. We'll do that in the next segment, but before we get there, I wanted to run something by you real quick. I wanted to get your thoughts, and I want to get those of you out there in the Armada's thoughts. Text line open 71307. Start your text with FAN FAN 71307. Start your text with FAN FAN. I have a question about this Brazil game that is coming up on Friday. The Eagles and the Packers, which are notoriously great one. 2 teams that wear green. They wear a lot of green. Why are you bringing up the colors in the uniform, Rob? Is this going to be another one of those dumb segments where you talk about NFL fashion? Yes, but also no. This game is taking place in Rio de Janeiro, down in Brazil. And it is taking place in a stadium called Maracanã Stadium. This stadium is used for big-time soccer matches, including one home club that has a rival that the hooliganism between these two teams is apparently world famous. And part of the reason it's world famous is because the fans of these two clubs will apparently, let's say occasionally, and give them the benefit of the doubt, murder each other.
So when you're saying murder, you mean like take someone's life?
I mean murder. Like literally murder each other. To the point that apparently around this stadium in Rio de Janeiro, Brasilia, you are encouraged, great one, not to wear the color green because that's the color of the rival that comes to play the home team in this stadium. And that we were told a number of months ago when they announced the Rio game that, that's, it's overblown. It's not that big a deal. It's really not going to happen that way, yada, 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 yada. Which may or may not be true. Except for two things have happened. Number one, the Philadelphia Eagles, famously, again, who wear green, they released their game day uniforms for Friday night, Lonzo. Guess what color they are?
I'm going to go with green.
No, they're not green at all. They're black and white.
Okay.
They have scrubbed all the green. Now, I don't know what the hell's going to happen on the other side of the football field. The Packers, notoriously from Green Bay, and granted, they don't really wear green.
Yeah, it's gold.
Yeah,
right?
they wear.
Gold.
It's yellow.
Yeah, but it's.
We
gold.
need to stop calling yellow gold in the world of sports.
It's gold.
It's definitely yellow.
Let's,
Same with you, Steelers.
Let's call downstairs and see what some guy down there who's in the authority could tell us what color it is.
I'm pretty sure, and there are a few things that I'm willing to take a stand on principle, even against those who have the ability to ruin my career. All right, very few places I'm like, I'm gonna take a stand, but this is one. That's yellow. I'm sorry, Steelers. There's one team in the NFL who wears gold, and that team's in New Orleans, Louisiana. And just so you don't think I'm being a hypocrite, LSU's colors are purple and yellow. All right. They break out a gold helmet every now and then, but they're purple and yellow. Put that to the side. They don't wear a lot of green, so whatever. They don't have to make big changes. But there's a second part.
I just looked it up, and according to AI Overview, our overseers, the Green Bay Packers colors are white, gold, and dark green.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Buy your wife a gold ring, that color, and let me know what she has to say about it. All right? Yours would be very gracious because Miss Lisa's the best, but that's not the point.
Can I borrow a little money for that? I mean,
My car's fixed. You absolutely may not.
Gold is
absolutely
expensive.
may not. Here's the other thing that happened. The NFL apparently sent a memo to players of the clubs that said that they can't do these things. And apparently it was like pages long. You can't go to these places. You can't do these things while you're down there. And a number of players have come out and said, we can't do anything. We're going down to Rio. We're going to stay in our hotel rooms because we can't go anywhere. We're going to play the game. We're going to go back to our hotel rooms, go to sleep, wake up the next day, and fly back to the United States. Here's my question mark. NFL, I know that you want to get the international audience interested. I haven't had a problem with you playing games in London. I haven't had a problem with you playing games in Germany. I don't have a problem with you playing a game in Paris that sends my Saints away. And I'm relatively sure that the Saints may accept a deal like the Jags have, where we're going to play one game a year in Paris, because it's, who else are you going to send to Paris but the team that has a fleur-de-lis on the helmet? Of course, that's who you sent, right? I'm even okay with that, as much as I hate it that I'm going to lose a home game every other year. I'm good with it, whatever. Here's my question. Roger, in what world, Roger, are you good sending your teams to a place where it is known that the soccer fans murder each other for wearing a particular color, and then saying to them, your life is in danger if you go outside, so don't do these things, and then being like, but oh, the way, hey, Rio, We'd really like to give you more football. By the way, hey, Rio de Janeiro, we'd like to give you more. Why, Roger? Why would this be your particular audience? Why would you send them to a place that fans murder each other over a color and think that that's okay in return for money? This, my dear friends, is why I've said for a very long time, if Roger Goodell had wrestling walkout music, it would go because he's a clown.
I'm very disappointed that you don't have the clown sound. I mean, because every time you say Roger, you could have.
Yeah, I'm fixing that after the show.
Yeah.
We're getting a clown nose squeaker sound
certified hater mode
after the show.
We do have colors here in America that you shouldn't wear. You know,
like what?
Crips and Bloods. You shouldn't
Yeah,
wear
I gotta know. You know, you're wearing red right now, literally as we speak, and I'm relatively sure I could be wrong. You're not gonna get murdered if you go down by any stadium in the area.
By the way, you don't know me.
That's fair. I don't know. Lonzo might be running with a gang in his spare time. You all know Lonzo. Lonzo, that total badass that he is, might be into some shady stuff on the streets. We preview the AFC and NFC North next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
My world.
Ladies and gentlemen, this need you more than ever. And if you're lonely, hold me tight. We'll be holding on forever.
I hate that song.
And as long as we're making it right. I hate that song.
Because, singing in the car is just something people do. And I was told by my cousin and his now wife, you can't sing that song. That's our song. And so
That would make me want to sing it more.
I did. But now I think of that every time. You can't sing that song. It's our song. It's like, you didn't write the song. You didn't sing the song. It ain't your song.
In fairness, that's one of the most aggravating things on the planet. That's our wedding song. I mean, okay. I guarantee you it's a lot of people's wedding songs. We were going through one of our biggest challenges as far as pulling together a wedding song was trying to pick one that was nobody else's and also not like super cliche. So we ended up finding a Marcus King song that we really like that works great. So we're done with that too. We got our first dance song picked.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's a good one too. Song called Love Song by Marcus King. It's a great listen. Oh, it's got to be the honka honka. It's got to be the double honka. Honka honka?
Yeah, apparently in my haste, I cut off the end.
That's all good. We'll get it figured out. Hey, let's talk about the NFC and AFC Norths here for just a minute, ladies and gentlemen, and make our divisional predictions. Yesterday, we went through the AFC East. Lonzo selected the New York Jets as his winner. I picked the Miami Dolphins. We went through the NFC East as well. I went with a shocking long shot here with the Washington Commanders. Bums. I really hope they drop the bums from their name this year. We'll find out. Lonzo went with the Dallas Cowboys as his winner of the NFC East. Let's move over to the NFC North. The Detroit Lions are your favorites in this division at plus 135, at just longer than 2-1, plus 230 of the Green Bay Packers. The Chicago Bears right there in the back pocket are plus 275. The long shots here, the Minnesota Vikings sans JJ McCarthy are plus 950, 9.5 to 1 in this one. I'm interested here because you got three teams in this division that can win it. You got the Lions, you got the Packers, you got the Bears, and they're all largely within striking distance of each other. You got Dan Campbell, who was 3-13-1 in his first season as the head coach, but we also know the Lions were a trash bag in that season as a franchise. Year number 2, 9-8, missed the playoffs. Then last year, 12-5, lost to the 49ers in the conference championship game. Most people believe Detroit could be even better this year. You bring back Jahmyr Gibbs, who was a revelation. You bring back Amon-Ra St. Brown, who was a stud last year. Jameson Williams getting better. And oh, by the way, you got some other players down there. You got a great tight end. You got a defensive end, and Aiden Hutchinson, that a lot of people think is a favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year in the NFL this year, but he's not alone. You got the Green Bay Packers, 9-8 last year. But what set everybody off was just the walloping that they put on the Dallas Cowboys in the wild card round. They did lose to San Francisco in the divisional round, but the Packers 6-8 heading into week 16 took advantage of a weak schedule that included the Panthers, Vikings, and Bears down the line. And Jordan Love looked a lot better. There is one question here. They lose Aaron Jones. They lose David Bakhtiari as their offensive tackle. So there's going to be a little bit of difference here. I'm going to tell you out of the gate before we make our predictions, I think the Green Bay Packers, sorry, big dog, aren't going to be as good as everybody thinks they are. I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be a wild card team. I think they're going to be right there in the mix. I don't like them to run at the division. I'll tell you who I do. I like the Bears to compete in the division. I'm not saying that Caleb Williams is going to be that dog. I'm not saying that Caleb Williams is going to be the football messiah of the Windy City like everybody predicts that he's going to be. What I am going to say is he's already looked a hell of a lot better than I thought he was going to. And as I have pointed out, they have surrounded this guy with phenomenal talent. They bring in Keenan Allen. I can do this. They've got DJ Moore. They just paid Rome Odunze, who I think was the best receiver in the draft, not named Malik Neighbors, Cole Kmet at the tight end, DeAndre Swift. They might have, and I'm including San Francisco in this, they might have the best skill position talent in the NFL. And oh, by the way, the Bears defense improved a lot this offseason. Predicted order of finish in the NFC North. Lonzo, I'll let you get a crack at it first.
All right. So Kyle on the stream has my order. That's the order I was going with, because for some reason, Rob's in love with a rookie quarterback who's done nothing. And the thing is,
I'm in love with two rookie quarterbacks who have done nothing.
So by saying Chicago is going to do that, what you're saying is they were a quarterback away last year.
Nope.
And it's not true. And they still have the same coach who's going to coach a good player if Caleb Williams is a good player, the same way he coached a good player last year. It's no. Detroit far and away the best in this division. They're going to run away with this. Green Bay, I think, is going to drop off, but as bad as Chicago and Minnesota is going to be, you're not going to notice. But still, Detroit wins this.
So, let me say two things.
He ain't played it down a meaningful football yet. Meaningful football.
So let's say a couple of things. Number one, a guy not having played it down doesn't mean that you can't project and predict what you think that guy is going to do. Number two, I am not saying the Bears were a quarterback away last year, but you also have to look at what the Bears added beside a quarterback. They added Keenan Allen, who takes pressure off of DJ Moore. DJ Moore, who was the best wide receiver last year the Bears have ever had in a single season. And now Keenan Allen's lined up. And oh, by the way, in case you wanted to make the slot receiver better, they bring in Rome Odunze, who proved to you at Washington he's a stud, he's a dude, was making circus catches in the preseason. Yes, it's the preseason, but still was doing that thing. I don't know if Caleb Williams is going to be a guy or not. What I will tell you is this, and I mean this when I say it, I don't think a rookie quarterback has ever, in the history of rookie quarterbacks, ever had the skill position set up around him that Caleb Williams has. You added Keenan. You added Rome Odunze. You added DeAndre Swift. They added not one, not two, but three excellent pass catchers to that offense alongside DJ Moore, who was already there, and alongside Cole Kmet, who was already there. Cole Kmet is the best tight end you're not talking about, because we're all focused on, as we should be, Travis Kelce and George Kittle. I am telling you right now that by the end of this year, you're going to put Cole Kmet in that group. Watch, book it. You're going to put Cole Kmet in that group. He's a stud. He came down to New Orleans last year and put 96 touchdowns against the Saints in one game. That dude is a dude. Detroit wins this division. Chicago's in their back pocket till week 18. I do. Listen, I think this team has enough talent. They overcome Matt Eberflus. That's how much talent I think is there. I agree with you. Coaching sucks in Chicago.
I'm not quite sure that's possible. We'll see.
We will see. We know that having incredible generational talent can overcome coaching. It's a different level. Jimbo Fisher won a Florida State national championship. It wasn't because Jimbo Fisher's a good coach. Look at literally every other season he's ever had. They all stink. Every season that wasn't 2013, Jimbo Fisher's teams were overrated and ass. Except 2013 when he had a college football Hall of Fame caliber quarterback in Jameis Winston and Kelvin Benjamin at wide receiver, and they won the Natty that year. That's what can be done, all right? It can be done in the NFL as well. Chicago has more skill position talent, I believe, than any other team in the NFL, and I am including the 49ers in that group. So if there's ever been a rookie quarterback who has been set up to succeed, it's Caleb Williams. If Caleb Williams doesn't succeed in year one, he will be closer to bust than Jaden Daniels if he doesn't. Than Bo Nix if he doesn't.
This is so funny because suddenly I've got Caleb Williams stuff on my feed, and the first thing that comes up: will Caleb Williams snap a 22-year winless streak? Quarterbacks drafted number 1 overall are 0-14-1 in their first start since 2002, according to ESPN Bet, which obviously is listening to us because that just popped
Well,
up. On the feed.
as I told you, Lonzo, I'm an influencer. All right, I don't know why people don't believe this.
It's the hat.
I'm an influencer. And the answer to that question is yes. Tennessee's at Chicago. Listen, I like Tennessee a lot this year compared to what most, but relatively speaking, I like Tennessee. I like Will Levis a lot. Captain Mayo reporting for duty.
Number 8.
Smell greatness. I'm a big Will Levis guy. All right. He is the face of my second favorite Mayo. I respect Will Levis for that. And I like this Tennessee team with their new coaching staff quite a bit. But Chicago's better than Tennessee out of the gate. The answer is yes. Caleb Williams will be win number 2 for number 1 overall quarterbacks in their opener. Yes, he absolutely will. This team is going to succeed. Texter said the Bears may come in 3rd in that division or worse. Stop sleeping on Green Bay. They got all the weapons. You're right. Green Bay's got great weapons. You know who's got better weapons? The Chicago Bears do. They just do. That's objectively true.
It's still yet. We both said Detroit's winning that division.
I agree, because I'll tell you what Detroit has that Chicago doesn't. It's the one reason that I'm taking Detroit over. Because I think they've got the weaponry that is not as good as Chicago's, but they got 2 other things. Number 1, they got a very experienced quarterback who knows that he is towards the end, and it's got to be now or never. And number 2, yes, not sarcastically, Dan, we're going to bite their kneecaps, Campbell. That's my freaking guy.
You got to watch his new commercial, by the way.
He's got a new commercial?
Oh, it's amazing.
Oh, I got to go to break now.
Yeah.
That's all I want to go find. They have got in Detroit a culture that is already instilled, already built, and believes. The Lions sold out their preseason games. The Chiefs didn't do that. The Niners didn't do that. Nobody did that except the Lions. They sold out preseason games. Ford Field, I'm saying this now, put it on the record. Ford Field will be the best home field advantage in the NFL this year. It'll be better than Arrowhead. It'll be better than Levi. It'll be better than Superdome. I'm including my own team. It'll be better than every home field advantage in the NFL because the Detroit fans are stupid right now. And I'm all in for it.
I love all we got to do is say NFL and all this stuff just pops up. It's
influencers, baby.
Including the NFC Championship odds. 12,000 to 1 are the Panthers.
I like football. I like football too. Like a lot, DJ. Thank you very much. Hey, let's run to a break. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to go into the other room and I'm going to go find Dan Campbell's new commercial. You are all going to sit here and you are going to be seduced by Lonzo reading this sports flash.
I don't know why that makes me uncomfortable, but it makes me it's weird. Yesterday, the Atlanta Braves started a 3-game set against the Rockies with a 3-0 win at home. Chris Sale surpassed his 200 strikeout on the season in a 9K 7-inning shutout performance, earning his 16th win of the year. Game 2 is tonight at 7:20 with Charlie Morton on the mound. In college football, the new AP poll has dropped. Georgia remains at number 1, followed by Ohio State, Texas, Alabama, and Notre Dame. Ole Miss is at 6, followed by Oregon, Penn State, Missouri, and Michigan. Clemson falls to 25 after their big loss to Georgia. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but they lost to Georgia by quite a bit. 9 of the top 10 teams are in the Big Ten or the SEC. Clemson is not. So the other is independent Notre Dame. And make sure to tune in this Saturday at 4:30 as the Furman Paladins take on Charleston Southern right here on your home for Paladins football. The Fan, upstate. Augusta Road. It's a parking lot. find a commercial?
No, I did not. I looked very briefly, but see if I can find it on YouTube.
It's for a
Is it an Applebee's commercial?
Yeah, that's what it is. I was going to say it was for a restaurant. I can't remember which one, but it is Applebee's.
America's favorite boneless wings for just 50 cents each. I have the 50 cent melt in your mouth. They can steal your order. I'll have the 50 cent boneless wings.
I'll have the same.
Perfect. Never seen it.
Solid.
I mean, it's not
Solid.
it's not a lengthy commercial, but I think it works. I'm still not going there because I'm not a girl, but
Because you're not. Is Applebee's feminine?
it's where all the women go to meet and talk about all the dudes.
I did not know Applebee's had that reputation.
Of course.
I've learned something new today.
When's the last time you went to Applebee's?
I couldn't tell you. Not since I moved here. But in fairness, there's not really one over by where I live. If I'm going to a place like that, I'm going to Chili's for the skillet queso.
There you go.
I'm not anti Applebee's. I'm just pro Chili's. Queso, skillet queso, and a Presidente Margarita are just game winners. Oh, we picked our cocktail menu for the reception yesterday. Courtney is going with a watermelon margarita. Rob Brown is going with, stop me, a Bahama Mama. And our third cocktail for the boys is going to be a classic old fashioned. I think it's pretty solid. What else did we get done last night? Oh, we
I don't know that it's a Kangol, Zach. I don't. It's
this
a
is not.
cabbie hat, man. It's
This
a
is
traditional
it's a
cabbie
cabbie
hat.
hat. This one hilariously is from H&M.
But if you're gonna wear a Kangol, you got to turn it around.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not cool enough for this.
Yeah.
I can't pull this off. You know what else I realized this weekend I can't pull off? I can't pull off aviators. I tried so hard. We went to the mall on Sunday because she wanted to go shopping for a little while for her birthday. We went to the mall. I went into every sunglass store. I tried on, I'm not exaggerating, probably 17 different pairs of aviators, trying to find different sizes and colors and shapes. I cannot pull off aviators. I want to so badly. Can't do it. I can basically pull off blenders, or I can pull off like Wayfarers, and that's it. That's
Because
my
your face is too skinny now.
Do what?
For aviators, you got to have a fat face.
No, I can still rock the aviators.
You just said
I mean
you could.
the Wayfarers, not the aviators. I can still rock the Wayfarers.
3 friends in the next break.
3 friends in the next break. Love that. Yeah. Here we go. The final hour of the Rob Brown Show on a Wednesday NFL Eve. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rob Brown and the great one, Lonzo, with you here. We are talking NFL on NFL Eve. We did a lot of college football earlier in the show. If you missed it, after the show is concluded, I want you to go to the website, thefanupstate.com, or go wherever major podcasts are found. And when you do, I want you to subscribe to the Rob Brown Show. If you go to the website, thefanupstate.com, you can go to the podcast section, top center of the page, click on The Rob Brown Show, and you can download every hour of the show on demand whenever, wherever you want to listen to it. If you go wherever major podcasts are found, Spotify, Google, Apple, it doesn't matter. You can subscribe to The Rob Brown Show, and we will just deliver those podcasts to you. If you turn on your notifications, you will get a ding the second that the great one is done uploading those podcasts at the end of the show, and you can listen to the entire show on demand at your leisure. All right? So make sure you subscribe on your podcast provider of choice, and if not, go to the website, thefanupstate.com, go to the podcast section, drop down to The Rob Brown Show, and listen to those pods whenever the hell you want. Whenever the hell you want. All right, let's get back to it. We did the NFC North in the last segment. Zoe and I both picking the Detroit Lions, Detroit Lions, to win the NFC North. And let's be clear. Let's be clear. I am telling you right now, do not be shocked if, yes, under a rookie quarterback, the Chicago Bears are right there in their back pocket until the very last week of the season. There's just too much talent. I'm going to tell you right now, if Matt Eberflus, if that guy doesn't have this team in divisional contention to the very end of the season, fire him. That's how much talent they got on that team. If he doesn't have them at least right there with the Detroit Lions to win that division, you fire Eberflus before he gets on the bus on week 18. That's how simple of a decision that is for me. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the AFC North. Let's look at the other side of the equation here. Let's talk about a division that has, for a hot minute now, belonged to the Baltimore Ravens. This division has 3 teams that can win it and a long shot that I will not be shocked if they're in the mix. The Baltimore Ravens are the favorite to win this division at plus 135. The Cincinnati Bengals are in their pocket at 165. It's a pretty decent drop down, though not ridiculous, to plus 500 for the Cleveland Browns, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and QB1/captain Russell Wilson are plus 700, just a little bit longer than the Browns. The Browns 5-1, the Steelers 7-1, the Bengals plus 165, the Ravens plus 135. Zoe, this, as much as I want to excite the people about an AFC North race, I got no love for the Cleveland Browns. I'm just waiting for the inevitable to happen, which is that franchise can't do anything but help it to be a dumpster fire. And as much as I do believe that Russell Wilson will keep Mike Tomlin's no-losing season streak alive, unfortunately, they will do it in one of the most difficult divisions to compete in the National Football League. And while I do think this team will check in once again at 9-8, I don't think they'll check in at 9-8 and a wild card round like they did last year. So, to me, it feels like a 2-horse race. It is the Baltimore Ravens behind Lamar Jackson, and it is the Cincinnati Bengals behind Joey M, Menem, Joey Ice Baby, Joey B, Joey Burrow. The AFC North is interesting. The Bengals are interesting. We don't know what the situation is with T. Higgins. Jamar Chase still not practicing. They play in 4 days. And Jamar Chase has not been practicing. Zach is fighting for his life right now to convince Bengals fans that, hey, hang in there. There's a chance Jamar is going to be out there in week 1. There's a chance homeboy's going to be in the offense when we step out onto the field for our first contest of the year. And yet, my dude is showing up to practice in street clothes. He's not participating. He's just in the locker room trying to get paid. And look, I got no problem with a guy trying to get paid. All right. You've watched the wide receiver market get flipped on its head. By the way, Deebo Samuels did renew his contract, or did renegotiate his contract with the 49ers to open up a little cap room, which leads me to believe that a deal with Brandon Ayuk is likely imminent. He has been practicing, unlike Jamar Chase. So I'm a little interested in the Bengals because while Joey Ice Baby does have chemistry with his wide receiver core, I wonder if there's enough time to get that rhythm and that routine down for this team before they step on the field Sunday afternoon for the very first time. I'm frankly not convinced. The good news is they got a couple of years of chemistry together. The bad news is one of those years wasn't last year. Now, there is more good news. The more good news is the Bengals open this season at home against the team that will be the worst team in the National Football League, the New England Patriots, a team for which Sean Payton and his Broncos think they're lucky stars, or else they would be the laughing stock of the NFL this year. Book that, write it down, but hold it to me. I am not convinced about the Bengals yet. And it is 100% because the guy that Joey B, coming off of an injury, needs the most clearly is not going to lose this game of chicken with Cincinnati. Now, I do think that Jamar, like most other players, will report for game day on game one because at the end of the day, even if he wants a new contract, game checks are for like a lot of money. So I think he'll show up, but I don't know that he'll be active. I don't know that he'll play, and I don't know that he will show up to practices between games, which means even if he does show up and dress on game day, he's effectively valueless to Joey Burrow in that case. I am interested in the Bengals, and as much as I want to pick them, and as much as I believe it's justified for them to be in the back pocket, I got to go with the Ravens team that got better. Yeah, they lose their number one rusher in Gus Edwards, but they replace him with Derrick Henry, who I'm going to tell you right now, Derrick Henry's a better Gus Edwards in this offense because Derrick Henry is the perfect complement. Perfect compliment to Lamar Jackson. Why? Because Derrick Henry at 30-plus years of age, I don't need to ask him to do everything like the Titans did. I don't need to run him on screens. I don't need to run him on bounce outs. I need to run him between the tackles. Derrick Henry needs to be a guy that sometimes Lamar gives it to him and sometimes Lamar fakes it to him and keeps it to the outside either as a rusher or as a passer. But I need Lamar to utilize Derrick Henry as a weapon and be a distraction. I need linebackers lined up against the Ravens to force themselves to watch 22, to attack 22 on every play. Because whether he gets the rock or he doesn't, I have to account for him, because if I stop accounting for him because I'm so wrapped up on keeping my eyeballs on Lamar and keeping Lamar from popping one off the outside, I need Derrick Henry to be a threat every play, and I believe he will be. I believe that as much as Harbaugh screwed the pooch in his play calling against the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, I have to believe that John Harbaugh learned his lesson. That John Harbaugh has watched that AFC Championship game from last year a billion times and went, why the hell did we only run the guy who carried us there in Gus Edwards 3 times? Why did we suddenly decide that the Gus bus ain't the guy? Listen, Lamar Jackson is a bona fide NFL MVP repeat candidate, but he will only be in the mix if Derrick Henry has a good year. I believe John Harbaugh knows that. Lonzo, I am going with the Ravens to win this division a second time. I will take the Bengals in the second spot. I'm going to take the Steelers in the third spot, and I will take the Cleveland Browns to be dead last in the AFC North.
All right, a couple of things we will have similar. I definitely have Cleveland last.
Interesting.
Paid him all that money, Deshaun Watson, and what have they gotten out of it? You know, they had to deal with the controversy, and then other things have suspensions, injuries. They've got, I mean, probably one of the worst investments in the history of investments, at least so far. As far as Pittsburgh goes, here's the thing that's going to happen. Tomlin is going to realize about 4 games in the mistake he made and the fact that his winning streak is about to end if he sticks with Russell Wilson. He's going to switch quarterbacks, put in the guy who should be the starter in the first place. and they're still going to end up in third place.
Why should he be the starter in the first place?
He's a better quarterback and he's younger.
He is younger.
He's a better quarterback and he's younger, and Russell Wilson is washed up and overrated. As far as the top 2 spots, I should pick Baltimore, but I'm not. I'm picking Cincinnati just because I believe Joe Burrow is going to be healthy this year. It's funny. Look, they were just showing the white uniforms, which still are the sweetest uniforms.
The ice white's pretty good.
The white Bengals uniforms are so cool,
good.
especially the helmets. Those things are wicked. But I just got to fill in. And Baltimore may very well win the division, but I don't think they will. I think Cincinnati's got them this year. I think Baltimore is due for a drop off.
Listen, I don't have an issue with either one of those two. I don't have an issue with you picking either one of those two. I would have an issue with you picking anybody else, and I was not worried about you picking the Pittsburgh Steelers. I did wonder if maybe the Browns would tempt you to do something this year and get it right, but the answer to that is no, and I'm good with that too because I've got them in dead last. So I am going with the Ravens to win the AFC North and the Bengals in second. Lonzo's got those two flip-flop. We both agree the Steelers in third and the Browns in last. In the NFC North, we both have Detroit winning that division. Lonzo has Green Bay in second. I have Chicago second in the NFC North. So there is your divisional predictions for the AFC North and NFC North. What did we get wrong? What did we get right? The text line is open at 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N. We will read them on the air. You can also give us a buzz on the Renewal by Anderson of the Carolinas fan phone at 844-FANFONE. That's 844-326 3663, 844-326-3663. Give us a buzz. Let us know what you think about the AFC and NFC North and with the East. We could not take phone calls yesterday. We can do it today. We gave you our predictions in the AFC and NFC East yesterday. I selected the Miami Dolphins to win the AFC East. Lonzo going with the New York Jets. I believe we had them flip-flopped for second place as well. Over in the NFC East, I am taking the long shot Washington Commanders to win the division. My longest long shot divisional bet. Lonzo taking the Dallas Cowboys to finish off the NFC East. So what are your thoughts on the AFC, NFC East, the AFC, NFC North? When we come back here in just a moment from now, I believe that the single most...
Joe Hendry.
Also correct. I believe, is it dumb that I practiced the turn? I got it down to a science.
Have you seen the entrance with the Hardy Boys?
I have. They kind of nail it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. When we come back here in just a minute from right now, I believe that the most important thing in life is accountability. I believe that you must hold yourself accountable. I believe that you must be willing to be held accountable by other people. I expect you to look at accountability as a good thing, even when it feels like a bad thing. There is someone on Twitter who has decided to escape accountability in a way that I feel like I must get after them. Lonzo is already shaking his head no. He knows exactly what I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to do it anyway. And I promise you, you are going to want to know what I'm talking about. And you'll find out when we come back on The Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate.
3 friends.
All right, guys, quick live, and we're back. Stay right there for the most hilarious story of the day. ready for the funniest thing in the world? Florida State plays at home this weekend against the Memphis Tigers. They are 1.5 point favorites.
Dude.
Keep in mind, you get 3 for being at home. That means that the bookies believe the Memphis Tigers are better than Florida State right now.
Dude.
That's rough. Rough for the Noles.
Can you go undefeated in one season, the exact opposite in the next season, and then keep your job?
If you can't beat Memphis, you're on the hot seat officially. If this team loses to Memphis, he's on that. Here's the problem. He's not on the hot seat because they just extended him and paid him like a buttload of money. They cannot afford, with all the stuff they got going on right now, they can't. I was going to say stuff, but then I realized I put the H there and I was real dangerous.
Okay.
So I panic stopped.
All right.
I was going to say stuff and I blew it. With all the stuff they got going on right now, they can't afford to fire this guy. But if he loses to Memphis, they're going to want to.
I think Jeff Saturday has a hairpiece. I don't know.
No, I don't think so. No, he's definitely just got like
There's like
I own a boat hair. I've got money hair.
He probably does have probably a couple boats.
For sure that guy owns a boat.
Nothing wrong with owning a boat, by the way.
God, no. It's like a goal of mine. Are you kidding me? It's like a long-term goal. It's not even a long-term goal. It's just a regular goal of mine.
I would love to have a boat, but I also would like to live closer to water. Yeah, Lake Greenwood's not that way away from me, but that's not the kind of water I'm talking about. I don't think I've ever been on Lake Greenwood.
Hey, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
This Sunday, September 8th, is NFL kickoff. 1 o'clock. Saints Panthers. At 3 p.m., the World Series trophy is going to be in downtown Spartanburg. Do I go there and watch the game at 1 in Spartanburg, find a watering hole, watch the bar? Do I watch it at the bar the World Series trophy's at so I can see it and take a picture? Because I've never been in the room with the World Series trophy. I feel like that's the play, right? Accountability means everything. Accountability, the ability to not just hold yourself accountable, to allow others to hold you accountable. Accountability is what makes you responsible. The fact that when you make a mistake, you own up to it, you acknowledge the mistake. When other people hold you to what you said you were going to do, that's what prevents you from going over the top. And I feel like this is a story about accountability. Florida State University took on Boston College this past Monday night. Of course, they did so coming off of a road loss at a neutral site game in Dublin, Ireland against the Georgia Tech Rambling Wreck. Now, that loss was not shocking to me, or I hope anyone in the Armada who had been listening to me like at all this offseason when I spent a lot of time telling you Georgia Tech's good. Like not like Georgia Tech good. I mean ACC good. Are they competing with Georgia? No. Can they compete in the ACC? Told you all offseason the answer was yes. I love this team. So that wasn't really shocking. Florida State turns around game number 2. They enter the game against Boston College as a double-digit favorite. And most everybody thought they'll get right. They'll figure it out. They'll be back on their flow this week, including on Twitter, a guy by the name of 321 Noel. That was his Twitter handle. At 3. You'll notice I said that was his Twitter handle. Here's why that was his Twitter handle. It was his Twitter handle because leading up to that game, 321 Noel on Twitter put up a tweet. And that tweet said, if Florida State loses to BC this weekend, I will eat dog out of a red Solo cup with a spoon and post a video of me doing it. Book it. Well, this didn't go great because you all know, as you are all wonderful college football fans and have the finger on the pulse of everything happening in college ball, that Florida State did indeed lose to Boston College. And about midway through the third quarter, it became very obvious to anybody watching that football contest that the Noles were going to lose to Boston College. It became very obvious during that football contest that Florida State was not capable of beating the Boston College Eagles. Well, people remembered 3-2-1 Nole because he had a respectable following on Twitter. Again, you'll notice I said had a respectable following on Twitter. Had a respectable following on Twitter, but had because after Florida State did indeed lose to BC, at 3-2-1 Nole has gone off the grid. Deleted his Twitter account, deleted his Instagram, deleted everything on the internet that would lead a vengeful social media crowd from finding him and holding him accountable for his promise to eat dog out of a red Solo cup with a spoon and post a video of him doing it. Accountability matters, my dear friends. And this is why I say accountability is what keeps you from doing dumb things on the internet. Now, as somebody who weekly puts himself into a position to potentially have to do dumb things on the internet, I get it. On Saturdays, there's a little show called Bet for the Cycle that is hosted by yours truly and former Major League Baseball player Cody Decker. And every week on that show, we play a little game called the Parlay v. Parlay Challenge. Effectively, the game works this way. Myself and Cody Decker, as two professional gamblers, we put a three-leg parlay together. On the other side, our production team puts together a three-leg parlay. If either team hits their three-leg parlay, it is required to have odds of 4-1 or longer. It must be plus 400 or longer. If either one of us hits our three-leg parlay and the other party does not, the other party must take some sort of punishment. Rob Brown and Cody Decker, great one, have now lost back-to-back Parlay v. Parlay challenges to the production team. Now, in fairness, to cover my own bootay, I will point out that this past one, we allowed what is an illegal bet on a wagering site to be posted because it was our board op, Brandon's, last day. Brandon has just been promoted to go work on BetMGM tonight alongside our former producer, Hayton Ass Mario. It was Brandon's last day. We allowed Brandon to put together a three-leg parlay that would not be accepted on the book. That parlay was for a Bobby Witt Jr. 1.5 bases, RBI, and a home run prop. That means basically if Bobby Witt Jr. hits a home run, all three bets cash automatically because you obviously get more than 1.5 bags, and a home run is an RBI. Bobby Witt Jr. hit a home run, that stood. It would not stand on a book, but since it was Brandon's last day, we decided we were going to let him have his special bet. And it hit. So there's two punishments on the line for Rob Brown and Cody Decker. Number one, we must drink Great One while we are in St. Augustine for my wedding because Deck will be down there with us. Decker and I must drink a shot of cicada-infused Malort that includes the cicada. If you don't know what Malort is, don't worry, I'll inform you. It's the worst liquor ever made. All right. If you took hatred and sadness and anger and rage and you distilled them down into a liquor, that's Malort. It has been described, Lonzo, as a tire that has been doused in diesel gasoline, lit on fire, put out, and then doused with more diesel gasoline. That's what this liquor tastes like. And then they made it with crushed dead bug shells. That's what Deck and I have to drink. And then we lost this past weekend. And the punishment for that one is we have to allow our producers 3 swats with a paddle. An old school Lonzo's elementary school style paddling. Deck and I got to take 3 swats.
Holes or no holes?
I hope no holes.
No, you do.
No holes makes it worse.
No holes. Holes make it worse.
No, that's what holes make it worse. So I hope no holes. We get one
Has to do with
from
wind resistance and also.
Oh, for sure. You get more velocity.
Yeah,
on the turn.
Well, size of booty factors in with holes too because it will leave certain kinds of marks.
And now that I have a saggy ass, I got less padding back there, right? It's going to be bad. Double D gets a swing. Brandon, our board op, gets a swing. And they have donated their third swing to Hating Ass Mario. And remember, Deck and I are both going to D.C. at some point in the next 6 months to put a tattoo on Mario's butt. Guess who's got revenge to tattoo ours metaphorically, right? So we're going to own the punishments. Deck and I are going to take the paddling. We're going to drink the Malort. It's going to be awful. I'm going to vomit. It's going to be terrible. I'm not going to be able to sit down for a couple of days, but we're going to take the punishment. 3-2-1 Noel did not live up to his promise to eat dog out of a red Solo cup with a spoon and post video of him doing it. Ladies and gentlemen, accountability matters. Own it. Carpool Mom said, Carpool Mom here, a man is only as good as his word. I'm not holding any, air quotes, man accountable for such a dumb statement. Good riddance. Get off the internet.
All right, here's the thing, the problem I have with this. I don't know why all these sadistic people want to watch someone do that. I'm all for punishments. I love punishments, not when they're mine, but when they're somebody else's. I don't want to see anyone do this. There are some things I don't want to see people do. This is one of them. I mean, no.
I got to tell you, I think this is one of those things that, to me, and I don't claim to be the arbiter of man cards because, let's be honest, I do things all the time that an arbiter of man cards would want to take my would take my man card away from me. All right. I drink frou-frou drinks. My signature cocktail at the wedding reception in 2.5 weeks is a Bahama Mama that will come with a tiny umbrella and a hibiscus flower in it. Mwah, gonna be delightful. Can't wait. Love a Bahama Mama with a flower and a baby umbrella in it. It's gonna be great. The first 2 clips that I put into my soundboard, both Tay-Tay, because I'm a Swiftie. All right. I don't claim to be the arbiter of man cards, but I'm gonna say this. There is a level of sacred when it comes to the bro v bro bets. And I use bro v bro because women are smarter than to make these types of bets, okay? The bros ain't. These are golf course bets. And there is some level of sacred to the bro v bro bet. If you're not willing to pay off the bro v bro bet, don't make the bro v bro bet. If you're not willing to drink the Malort or take a paddling or eat the dog out of a Solo cup, then don't make the bet. Because when you do, and then you refuse to pay off the punishment, you vandalize. You vandalize the sacred bro v bro bets. All right? You make it cheap. You cheapen the bro v bro bets. When me and my guys make these dumb bets around each other, we're going to hold each other accountable. And if you don't live up to your end of the bet, you're going to take dog for the rest of your life about it. You just are. So it's my guy 3-2-1 Noel who put it out there on the internet, who made a ridiculous statement, and then when it was time to pay the piper because he was dead wrong, when it came around time to answer the bell, he just straight up deleted Twitter and disappeared from the internet entirely. Bad form. 3-2-1 Noel.
I last I checked, I'm a human being, and as a human being, I understand that there's some things that some people say that's just beyond stupid that I never would have expected them to pay up, and this seems like what's going to be a fruitless crusade because you're not going to get this guy to do this. I just the internet is a dangerous place, and people should not play on it.
I agree with all of that. The internet's a toxic place. It's a terrible place. I don't disagree at all. And I'm also going to say, if you say it on the internet or the golf course or at the cigar bar or in the bro cave at the house, If you shake hands as by pressing tweet, you are virtually shaking hands with the devil, with the internet itself. If you make the Bro v Bro bet, you pay the Bro v Bro bet. And my dude didn't do it. Didn't pay the piper, didn't answer the bell. And when he comes back to Twitter, as he inevitably will, it's all he's ever going to hear about for the rest of his Twitter life. And it's earned. All I'm going to say. Back after this to wrap it up. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. Bow, 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 bow.
Mac, human beings allow other human beings to welch on things that you know they never were going to do. So many things I could say right now, but I'm not going to. Yeah, if you don't pay up with your wife, you pay up. So I mean, that's I mean, you know.
Yeah. Beyonce and I have we make bets all the time, and you absolutely pay up on your bets.
It's a totally different situation.
My relationships are very important to me.
Most of them.
A Minecraft movie? I didn't talk about it.
Yeah, it's dude.
I'm bringing it up anyway.
You know how many? Look at how many scribbles I have on this.
Okay, in fairness, I can't.
There is nothing today, and every time I scramble and I find something, you take it away from me.
I can't know. Am I just not supposed to talk about anything?
I stick to the rules.
I'm gonna change the rules.
You can do that. You've always been able to do that because it's your game. But until such time you say, I, as the maker of this game, have changed it, okay, I will stick to the rules.
I'm changing the rules as of tomorrow. If it is just mentioned in passing, it can stay on.
It's been close before, but there will come a time where I just go on and say, what the X is not happening today because Rob took every single one of them. Every one of them.
freshen up a whole room, we've got you covered. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. More terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details. Valid through 9/4.
Talk about Dion and the Buffs for just a minute. Got a few minutes left here in the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Colorado fights for their lives last week. A week ago tomorrow, as a matter of fact. Is it a week ago tomorrow already? Goodness gracious. Fight for their lives against North Dakota State. End up getting a steal of a win over the Buffaloes, despite Coach Prime's best efforts to give away that game late, to stat pad his quarterback's son's numbers at the end of that game. You're going to have a real difficult time convincing me that's not what happened. Well, there's two things that have happened in the last couple of days that I find very interesting as I watch the week-by-week evolution of this program. Earlier this week, Monday, as a matter of fact, earlier this week, the Colorado Buffaloes put up a tweet. The tweet says, quote, irrelevant, air quote. And I say quote because they literally put quotation marks around just the word irrelevant. And then they posted a graphic. The graphic said, ESPN's most viewed Thursday night opener in 7 years, 5.6 million viewers, and then a picture of Travis Hunter catching a touchdown pass against a North Dakota State University Bison defender. Now, I got to tell you, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. And if it was pretty much any other school, I don't feel like it would be that big of a deal. I don't feel like it would be any sort of deal at all. If this was Clemson, Georgia, and both of those schools put up this exact same tweet, I would go, okay, that's it. But I had a reaction to Colorado posting it. Now, I've said before and I'll say again, I want Dion to be successful. I found myself feeling a little bit less that way last Thursday. And I think I talked about this on Friday. I don't remember. But I felt going into that season, going into that game. And I've said a lot of times, I really do want Dion to be successful and Colorado to be successful because I feel like college football would be better with Dion being a top-notch coach, being a face of college football. I feel like college football needs personality. And now that college football players, and good for them, have the right to pick and choose where they're going to play, I think now more than ever, coaches become the face of their program more than the players, right? You're going to have fewer and fewer Tim Tebow's. You're going to have fewer and fewer, like that's when you think of that, you think of that guy. You're not going to have a lot of that. So I think college football would be well served for having Deion Sanders playing a major role at the top of that list. But I've also pointed out, I think this offseason sucked for Colorado fans. I think this offseason was bad for Deion. I think it was bad for college football. And the reason I said these things is Deion has been unnecessarily combative. Deion has been unnecessarily combative. I don't mind Deion doing Deion things. I don't mind him hyping the blenders. I don't mind him showing up on every college football show. I don't mind any of these things. And I don't mind these things because part of Deion being Deion is being a multimedia mogul, being somehow everywhere at once. I don't mind him doing the pod with RG3. I don't mind him going on Game Day or ESPN or Fox Sports or wherever he's going to go. In fact, I think it's good. Again, if I'm a head coach, I want as much pub as I can get. But when he started turning it away from I'm on pimping the school and the blenders and all that, and started turning it into getting in a headbutting contest with local columnists and not dialing in on the team, I had questions. And then you go into Thursday night's game, and we're late in the game, and the Buffs are up 1 score, and all they got to do is take a knee and they win the game, run the clock out. And instead, Deion's got Shedeur dropping back and throwing long bomb passes to StatPad. Give me any other reason that you're throwing in that situation. Like any other reason besides StatPadding. There's not one. There's no reason to throw the ball in that situation other than to StatPad your son's numbers. None.
I will bring up what I did before, that if the quarterback takes it into his own hands and he calls the play,
then you bench his ass.
No,
I
you
don't care if it's your son.
No, you don't. Because if that was the case, a lot of quarterbacks would be benched because a lot of them do that.
I'm not talking about in the second quarter because the quarterback sees something. I'm talking with 56 seconds left in the game, you up by a score and the ability to run the ball and run out the clock. You're telling me if a college football, not Patrick Mahomes, if a college football quarterback gets a run play called, checks out of it to a Hail Mary pass, when a run ends the game, you think college football, you think Dabo would be good with that? You think Shano would be good with that? I think they would be bleeping square turds if a quarterback did that, right? If Cade did that.
I don't think that thought has ever come into my mind and never will. But
my old middle school football coach, Tom Grant, used that expression, and I've never been able to shake it.
It's so weird.
Yeah. He used to go, hang on, I'm going to do it the right way. I swear, son, if you do that again, you're going to make me a square turd. And that expression has stayed with me ever since. I don't know why.
Okay.
It's weird. I'm not saying it's not.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, a lot of these things we look up where they came from. I'm not looking that up because that's just, I bet that was his phrase.
Oh, it was absolutely his phrase.
Okay. Again, happens all the time. Every level of football, coaches deal with it differently. I think it's because of the spotlight and it being his son. If he did that, if Prime was to bring him out and bench him after him doing that, if he did indeed do what I think he did and just called the play on his own, the blow up would be astronomical.
What? Okay. So I'm going to say it ain't because of the spotlight. It's because of the spot. If there's 56 seconds left in the first half, whatever. You trust Shedeur. You're giving him that authority to make that call. It's 56 seconds left in the second half. You're up 1 score against the team that you already know can go late in the field.
You hurt your son's future by pulling him out of the game. You take the blame. You take the blame and say and let everyone think that you did it. But if it comes out that he did that, that might hurt his draft status.
And there we have it. That is Deion caring more about his son than the program he's been asked to lead.
But I would, if I were in his position and that happened to me, I would take it too. Because whether it's my son or not, I don't want to hurt their draft status. I want them to succeed go to the highest level of whatever they can. And if this would cause that to not happen, I would take the blame for it.
Then you're a wonderful father and a terrible coach.
No, what I'm saying
wonderful
is
father,
even if it wasn't my son, I would do that.
Wonderful person, terrible coach. Because if you put anything above the success of that program, and I'm not even talking about like in your whole life. I'm talking about
they still won.
In that 56 seconds, they won by 4 yards. And oh, by the way, had the missed targeting call get whistled, North Dakota State wins that game because they're scoring on the next play. All the momentum is in their favor at that point. If that targeting gets called, Colorado loses that game. If you put
so many
the
ifs
team
in sports, I mean, the ending is what the ending is.
I mean, there's ifs in everything. The fact is, even though it didn't happen, you unnecessarily created a reality in which it might have. That's a problem. Now, let me get to the second part of this because we're right up on what the X is going on. Yesterday, Deion Sanders went into a press conference again. You know what he did? He spent the entire press conference. And this, Deion, this is what you should be doing the whole time. Deion pumped up the Buffaloes for sure. He said, look, at the end of the day, whether you love the show or they hate the show, you got to watch the show. That's us. That's why we're coming to town. I'm good with that. There's no issue there. Then he turned around and you know what else he did? He lauded Matt Rule. He talked about Nebraska and how threatening Nebraska is and how good that program is. And by the way, sarcasm aside, he's absolutely right. Watch the hell out for the Huskers. I believe they're going to be good this year. But that's it, Dion. You got it right. You got it right. You didn't get in a headbutting contest with the media. You came out and you said, you might love the show, you might hate the show, but you know that we are the show and you got to watch us. Great. That makes me want to watch more. And then you didn't turn around and be a jerk the rest of the time. Dion, that's it. Do that. Do that, and I'm in. Do that.
And now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter.
By the way, come at the media all you want. They're not a protective species like Rob thinks they are. They're not. All right, the first thing that's Xing is Patrick Surtain.
Patrick Surtain of the Denver Broncos has just signed an extension to stay with that team. I believe I read earlier 2 more years he got with the Broncos. Either way, the Broncos got to be bending over backwards to retain any talent that they can retain, because I'm telling you, I'm so tired of Sean Payton. Not an offensive genius, hasn't won a Super Bowl since 2009, and the only reason he did is because he had the most accurate passer in the game. This whole belief that 2024 Sean Payton is some offensive guru and genius, the Denver Broncos are going to suck this year, dudes. It was not Russell Wilson's fault. It was the Broncos. When they end the season with 4 wins, don't go, what happened to Sean? Nothing happened to him. That's just who he is.
All right, Rob Brown, hater mode activated.
My hater mode. Why would I want to hate a coach who won me the only Lombardi I have in my life?
Yeah. You are really against him. I'm just saying.
No, I'm
I
not.
noticed. I think everyone else
No.
has
See,
noticed too. Yeah.
I am as a fan and
Hater.
as a show guy,
Hater.
I am capable of saying I don't give a damn. This is not hater. Why would I hate on the guy who won me my only Lombardi and probably the only one I'll ever see?
That is
I
a
would
great
not.
question. Why would you
I
do
don't.
that?
I don't.
Okay.
Your inability to not hate when you talk about things is not mine.
Oh, okay. All right. You're right, because you're definitely hating.
No, I'm not. I am good. So let me ask you this question. If the Broncos finish 4-13, are you coming to me and going, Rob Brown, you're a hater? Or are you going, damn, son, you know ball, you called it on the nose?
First of all, this is a trick question for me, because I can't stand the Broncos. I want them to lose every single game.
Well, they
And
won't,
just to-
but they'll
just-
learn. They'll lose most of them.
Well, let's hope so. Because as a Chiefs fan, I can't stand the Broncos.
Well, I have good news for you.
Okay, we'll see. The next thing is Xing is Dana White.
I don't know that this is the reason, but last night there was an upset in a UFC event where a dog, like a 90-1 dog, like the jobber of jobbers, scored a knockout to win a fight, and apparently Dana's reaction got covered by the TV, and I guess he gave us a new GIF.
Well, the other thing he did, first of all, that was a man. If you watch that knockout,
I haven't seen it yet.
No, it only take a second.
Oh, I just saw it. 10 to, oh,
Yeah.
that was quick.
Yeah.
10-1 dog, and laid down a KO in, what is that? 1,000, 2,000. Less than 3 seconds as a 9-1 dog scored the upset. And now I'm waiting for where's the Dana White reaction? I want to see it. They don't have it in this angle, but apparently Dana had like a whole, oh my bleeping bleep.
Yeah, and offered her a contract on the spot.
On the spot?
Yeah, which he can do
Yeah.
as that guy.
9-1 dog scored a 2.5 second KO.
Yeah, it
Wild.
It no, he wasn't wild. It was,
Wow.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Well, probably next to Ben Askren getting his neck broke. I mean, that's probably like the fastest knockout
Yeah.
I've seen.
That's wild.
All right, and finally, the last thing that's Xing is Jadeveon Clowney.
Jadeveon Clowney trending for, I don't know why. What I will say is Jadeveon Clowney last year was a big part of what the Ravens were going to do. That's a big loss for that defense going up against Patrick Mahomes to not be able to set that edge against Isaiah Pacheco. That is one of the reasons that I do like Kansas City in this game, even though I do think the Ravens are winning that division. I'll tell you what's wild. I'm betting the under in that game. The under is 18-4 at Arrowhead in the last 22. And here's the wild thing. Patrick Mahomes is 4-1 against the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. All of those games have come in on the under. That is insane to me. Jadeveon Clowney was a big reason why. We'll find out without him what else there is.
All right. The reason why it's Xing is, according to Canales, they haven't decided who's going to play the opposite edge.
That's interesting.
Yes.
That's interesting. Hey, you know what we should do tomorrow? we should break down more NFL football because tomorrow is day one of week one. Football is back, baby. NFL, yeah. Y'all have a lovely rest of your day. Don't drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you didn't, come back tomorrow. We'll try again harder. He's Lonzo. I'm Rob. This was the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Later.
I really don't give a.
All right, kids, that's the show. We nailed it. We always nail it. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Willis? That being said, I do have to leave because I have many, many things to do to catch up on for yesterday when I wasn't here. So we collectively as one hope you have a lovely rest of your afternoon. Sleep well on NFL Eve. For tomorrow, after our slumber, we arise like the phoenix from the ashes, once again reborn in the light that is football season. I don't know why I felt the need to make it dramatic, but I nailed it.
Sorry, I didn't have accompanying music, but we're off the air. So
that's true. Goodbye, everyone.